Good rising, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Talk with me, Karen B. Today is July 29th, another fine Moonday, 2024. And the moon, what is the moon doing today? And the moon is 35% waning. So we're going towards another new moon phase. I hope you're all doing wonderfully today. Let's see. Why am I getting so much popping in my headphones? I don't understand what's up with all the popping. Weird. Are you guys hearing popping? Anyway, good rising. Hello to everybody on Rockfin, Coffee Talk, Rumble, and YouTube. Great rising, grand rising. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Karen. Thank you for always being here, Artiseer, and for always being so cool. Dose of Reality with Brian Stavely, Effed Up World, Tony Coriolis, Southern Belle, Matrix One, Scrotal Xerox, Ben Carablo. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I woke up on the wrong side of the globe today. Hope Karen has some good news. Well, I don't know if I do, but I'll do my best to try to find some. Aisling717. Hi, Cami. Hi, Spicy Sarah. I will see you later today. Zulu1. Good to see you. Brandon C. Truth Faction. Mystical Rock Hounding and Fossils. Good day. Mojo Shop. Edwin Messenger. Yahuwah is Yahusha, by the way. I don't. Earth first, space later. Chi-Chi, good to see you. Psyop within a psyop. MFT says the globe is dead. We can go back to saying good morning. Well, you everybody say whatever you like to say. I don't really care. I don't really like saying morning because morning sounds like mourning, like in mourning of something. Like, why would you be in mourning? That's just a personal preference, but I would never, like, if somebody says to me, good morning, I'm not going to lecture them on why they shouldn't say good morning. I'll just say, good morning back to you. Sharif, good to see you. Lord Frybread, Dean HD, Brandon C. There's green screen option on Shorts camera now for premium members. Huh? Is that for YouTube? Another trip around the moon, says Deadpool. Are you a round earther? Hi, Richard B. Greetings from out over. Morning the globe. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's good to see you all here. Welcome back. Just a friendly reminder that there is an event coming up, Flatoberfest 2024, September 29th or 27th through the 29th. Main days will be Friday and Saturday. In Spartanburg, South Carolina, at a beautiful venue on 55 acres called the Music Camp, located at 600 Bruckner Road. As I said, in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's a wonderful venue. There is plenty of room for on-site camping. If you don't want to camp, you don't have to camp. There's plenty of hotels within a very short driving distance nearby. There's also Airbnbs and stuff. Spartanburg is a pretty, pretty populated area. It's not that hard to find places to stay if you don't want to camp. Scheduled, we have live music from Chief Crow and the Flat Earthworms, One Big Love. David Beverly Sr. of Jesus Freak Computer Geek will be giving a presentation. Rick Hummer as well. Austin Whitsitt from Whitsitt Gets It. Karen B, myself, I will be doing a presentation this year on the crystalline realm. I'm going to put together a presentation finally. Of all these events that I've done, I've never actually given myself a speaking spot, but I gave myself one this time. Because I think it's necessary. I think we need to have, a different voice, which I've tried to be that different voice, and it really hasn't gone over very well. I've lost a lot of friends, a lot of people, a lot of flat earthers. It's like, once you start disagreeing with something that they're into, doesn't matter if you still agree that the earth is flat or not. It's like, did anybody see Marty's stream this Sunday where he says flat earth is just not enough anymore? So, I've spoken out against quite a bit of things, and I haven't gone along with a lot of the group think, and it hasn't gone well for me. I've kind of fallen out of favor with a lot of people, but, I don't have it inside of me to be fake. I don't have it inside of me to go along with something that I disagree with just because it keeps everybody happy and in a feel-good mood, and everybody can continue to sing Kumbaya, and there's some, this isn't what I got into this for. It's not at all what I started my YouTube channel for. I didn't get into this to start some big feel-good flat earth love fest and sing Kumbaya all over flat earth about, how we're all united under the truth of flat earth. I just wanted to wake people up to deception. I wanted people to start critically thinking, because I realized I wasn't critically thinking. I wasn't. I was just believing what was being put in front of my face. And I got into my 30s and I was able to stop working and become a stay-at-home mom. And then I was able to, sort of slow down and take a look around what was going on around me. And I saw so much that I hadn't seen before, and I just was like, oh my God, we're being lied to so much. And I just wanted to get people to realize that they were being lied to. And then everything sort of takes on a life of its own. But, it was good. It was good in the beginning. It was good when there was a big group effort to sort of say, hey, everybody, did you know that we don't live on a globe? And scientism has become a religion and blah, 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 blah. And, all that stuff. And, it was really fascinating in the beginning. And then we just started, a lot of people started waking up, and we started to get a lot more people asking questions and, researching and trying to answer questions. And then COVID hit. And we started getting censored. Well, I guess it was right before that when Flat Earth really started getting censored heavily. And then that really changed because Flat Earth channels were not getting the views that they used to get. They were not getting the clicks. It was like everything just sort of dropped off because, and I don't necessarily think it was because of Flat Earth itself, because I think it was that we were talking about other stuff. Like we were all saying right at the beginning of COVID, don't believe it, don't buy it. It's a joke. They're not, you know what we were doing. You were all here. Well, most of you, a lot of you were here. And so then we started getting super censored heavily. And a lot of people started to let that censorship dictate the direction in which they took their content. And that is when this, a lot of these trendy ideas sort of took hold. And, a lot of them I didn't go along with, and I still don't. And boy, did I get a lot of crap. I got accused of causing division. I've had people turn their backs on me. So, it's sort of hypocritical, this hypocritical thing that's happened in this, and I don't even know what it is, community. You're not allowed to go against the grain even for them, it's like this, how do I explain it? You're just not allowed to have your own thoughts, even in a group that allegedly is born of, people wanting to promote critical thought. And it's only in just a few short years did it go that way. So it's, it's a little disheartening sometimes. Hi, I am Ion's cat. Not down under. Brandon C says, Karen, I want to get some ink done. Looking for a good shop in Greenville, Spartanburg area if you have any recommendations. I haven't gone to any shops. I don't know anything about them. So I unfortunately don't have any recommendations for you. As far as that goes. I'm sorry. Ryan's going to work. Have a good day at work. I'm still with you, Karen. Thanks, Nathan. This is Spartanburg with a picture of Karen kicking Professor Dave off the edge of FE. Good thumbnail. That's hilarious. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I don't even know what to say about all that. This, things have kind of gone awry here lately. Does everybody else notice it? What do you think? I mean, seriously, I want to know what other people think. I have my phones open, so call me, let's talk. What's going wrong with this community? Why is everything falling apart? Why is it not okay to have your own opinions about old world stuff or Tartaria or jet fuel hoax? Why is it not okay to not agree with those things and then to then actually show reasons why you don't agree with those things and then to be shut out of everything? Why is that okay? Can somebody please make it make sense to me? Why is it not okay for me to not agree with some of this stuff? I mean, years. I've lost so many friends. It's like people just started attacking me. They're like, oh, you're causing divisions. Oh, you didn't even look. But I did look. Look, I'm not... I want people to know, and I don't know if you know this. I mean, I feel like hopefully my responses have made it clear that I do look at these things. It's not that I refuse to look and just shut the door just based on the premise alone. I did look. I looked at many, many things. I spent hours upon hours upon hours. I still look at stuff even though I disagree with it because people still put it out there. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me look. Is this really what this person is saying? And it never is. It never is. So please explain to me why it's not okay. Why is it not okay for me to have these opinions? Why am I required to go along with the flat earth royalty or the self-appointed, whatever, the most popular ones? How come it's not okay for me to disagree with certain things? Why do I then become a pariah because I don't? Or because I have the fucking audacity, to actually voice those opinions in opposition of some of these ideas that are being pushed as truth within the truth community, because it's not a truth community. It's a clickbait. I don't even know what it is. It's like a dopamine. It's become a dopamine community. It's become a next big thing addiction community. There's nothing really cohesive about it. Hi, Sarah G. Scotty says, I don't care what people believe, just don't force me to believe it too. Well, Scotty, that's the thing. A bunch of people have, started to believe these theories that don't even make sense. They're self-contradictory constantly. And then there's a whole bunch of evidence that proves them wrong, but they just ignore it and they call it fake. Like, it's the complete opposite of what was going on when everybody woke up from the globe to flat Earth, where everybody was like, actually looking for truth and scrutinizing everything and looking for proofs, right? Now it's like they don't even do that. They just accept at face value what people are saying because the person has established themselves or conveyed to themselves publicly that they're a flat earther and they're always in search of truth. So now everything this person presents is then what? Truth? Or has some validity to it? No. No. I mean, I know I just don't understand it. I don't understand how things got to where they are. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems very artificial. Especially the last couple of years, a lot of artificialness. A lot of, somebody please help me make it make sense. 704-666-1776. Help me make it make sense. Make it make sense to me. Why is it not okay for me to not go along with some of these trendy ideas that clearly have no proof and actually have evidence against them? Why is that not okay in the truth community? Why, as a flat earther, am I now required to believe in giant ancient trees and an ancient Tartarian civilization, advanced civilization that lived off free energy? Why am I required to believe that nonsense now? Just because I'm a flat earther. Can somebody please explain that to me? Why it's not okay? Too much compromise. We came together because of a realization of truth, and it has been watered down by people tying their beliefs to FE. Yeah. TikTok flat earthers have a shallow grasp of flat earth. That's part of the problem. They didn't participate in the work. Stephanie Martin, do you feel required? No, I don't feel required, but other people basically turn their back on me because I don't. They tell me I'm causing division. They tell me that I'm not in search of truth. They say that, they just throw all this stuff at me. Oh, I might as well think I live on a globe now. Karen now believes everything from the mainstream because I don't agree with their particular version of what has been going on. So no, do I feel required? Hell the fuck no, I don't feel required. Because if I felt required, if I actually did feel required, then I would have been going along with that shit for the last 4 years. No, I don't feel required. That's why I didn't do it. If their belief can stand on its own, they certainly don't need FE. That's what I'm saying. For me, everything is an open and ongoing investigation. I don't believe anything. Well, I would like to see an investigation, but here's the thing. The people who put forth these ideas that I don't agree with basically dismiss the evidence against their scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't look at both sides. If you're just looking for confirmation bias, well, I'm sorry, but you're not in search of truth. You're in search of a cool story that you can then put on your YouTube channel and get thousands of views on. You're not in search of truth. You're in search of clickbait. So please, somebody, make it make sense to me. Why? Why? I feel required to draw a line now. Sometimes I feel I have to call them retards because it is literally retarded. Do you know what the definition of retard is? It means slow or slowing. You're retarding the progression of the exposure of lies. You're retarding the learning process. You're retarding the unraveling of what we know to be false by sending everybody on a wild goose chase for things that have absolutely no evidence and nothing to back it. And in fact, if you go and, and they'll tell you, oh, go look it up yourself. Well, you know what? I actually did go look it up myself. And I don't find, and a lot of the stuff that they say, it's just straight up lies. This is why Gary, the numbers guy, introduced the interview to get into main GG. What? New dogma to replace the old. Many think FE had made them above the programming, makes them easy to control. Exactly, Big Pine Sailing. That's what I'm saying. There's like a hubris that has been created amongst people who have been awakened to the flat earth, and now they think they can figure out everything. But what you people don't understand is that flat earth is easy. Flat earth is easy. It's easy to see that the globe is a lie. It's easy to see that the earth is not what we have been told. Once you actually take the time to look at it, that's why everybody was like, but don't you see? It's so obvious because it's easy. It's easy. The hard part is after that. When your whole paradigm has been broken down and now you have to go back and you have to rebuild it back up, that's the hard part. And right now, I see a bunch of people rebuilding their paradigm or their belief system with a bunch of bullshit. I really don't. I feel like there's like a weird recipe in this whole thing that's gone on, where like leading up to the awakening of flat earth, leading up to the 2014, 2015, like sort of rush of popularity of flat earth, right? What happened? Everybody got addicted to social media. Everybody got smartphones. Everybody got used to instant gratification. Everybody had their attention span completely hacked and butchered into oblivion, right? Before this. Right? So now it's like their paradigm has been broken down. They realize that they've been lied to. And now it's like instant gratification. Oh, I must replace it right now. Let's replace it right now with something else. Doesn't matter if it's like a correct thing or a true thing. Let's just replace it right now with something else. Instant gratification replacement of a paradigm is what I see going on. And I feel like nobody has any patience. Nobody has any true desire to get to the truth of things because they're too busy trying to fill those holes, replace everything like super fast, because I can't just go around, I can't be expected to think about things on a daily basis or, actually look into stuff on a case-by-case basis. Oh no, let's just replace it all. Well, I didn't do that. And then I was like, hey, what are you guys doing? And they're like, fuck you, you're causing division. Why don't you get on board, Karen? Did you do any research? Why don't you go watch another video? Karen, hey, why don't you watch some more videos, Karen? Karen, you just didn't watch enough videos. Here, watch another 4-hour videos about melted bricks, Karen. Then you'll see what's going on. Then you'll know the truth. I'm retarded and I give you all permission to use the phrase. Got a copy of the Holy Grail of FE. Will start today. I've been reading that book on my Kindle. So I'm actually reading a couple of books at the same time. Like I've been reading this book. I don't know. Let's see if you guys can see it. It's called this. Here, I'll show you. Secret Societies and Psychological Warfare. That's what I've been reading. And then at the same time, I also have been reading, I downloaded that Holy Grail book to my Kindle, and I started reading that. I mean, reading this and then reading that book, it's like reading a book by like a scholar or somebody. I don't know, this guy writes, he's a great writer, versus like reading a book that was written by maybe a fifth grader. No joke. No joke. Hello, Lord Racer. It's weird listening back all the things I presented on my channel for years. The harsh part. I'm trying to read chat and it's jumping. Truth takes effort. Yes, it does. Hollow Earth, hollow-minded. I don't know what that means. I'm not against... Hollow Earth is not mutually exclusive from Flat Earth. In fact, I watch a lot of stuff that makes me think that Earth could be hollow, and I'm not even watching Flat Earth stuff or even conspiratorial stuff. I watch a lot of geological stuff. Like a lot of stuff about caves. I find caves, a lot of that stuff really fascinating. Like I watch a lot of this channel. I've talked about it before. It's my favorite channel. One of my favorite channels. It's called the Action Adventure Twins, I think. And these guys, they go into these tiny holes that people find on properties or in the mountains all over, you know. I think they're mostly on the East Coast or east of the Mississippi, because I know on this side of the country, the cave system is very extensive. So these guys go into this, they'll find this tiny little hole in a rock that you can barely fit through, right? They're skinny guys. They can go in there, you know, and then they go down these little crazy crunched passageways, and then it opens up into like a room that's like the size of a cathedral, an immense giant room under the earth. I mean, you know, when you start looking, I mean, I've spent the last 5 years obsessing over crystals and minerals and geology stuff. So that's why I kind of got really frustrated. That's why I got really frustrated when people come out and they're like making up new words. Like, how arrogant are you that you're going to make up a new word for your bullshit theory, meltology, biogeology? You know, this is why I got really upset, because people are just coming and they're just assigning new attributes to things that we have known about for hundreds of years, thousands of years, some of these things, okay? And then these people just come along, this YouTube little group of YouTubers comes along and decides that they're just going to assign brand new attributes and qualities to certain materials and things without doing any testing, without showing any evidence, without making any explanation. They just go, oh, they lied about that. It's not this. It's actually this. And everybody goes, oh yeah, sure. Uh-huh. And it is so unintellectual. Just the complete antithesis of what I thought naively, very naively, the complete antithesis of what I thought this could actually be. This whole awakening, you know. I felt like a complete naive idiot for the way that I approached this. Completely. Facts. Because I thought people would want to know that they'd been lied to. I thought people would want to know the truth. I thought people would be, would have their passion for learning reignited the way that mine was. You know, like the passion for learning. I was like, oh, you know, not only do I not need to rely on some, you know, overpriced Rockefeller College or university to teach me these higher subject matters, I can learn them myself. I can do tests myself. I can learn from other people who are doing this. I thought people would want to learn, but no, they don't care. They just want to go in the YouTube chat and just say the same shit day in and day out and go, look at this, looks like a giant tree stump. Oh, it's just so frustrating. And, you know, it's just gotten to the point where it's like, it's just not even fun anymore. So, you know, my phones are open. Call me up. Tell me why I'm wrong. I mean, something. Say something. What is going on in this place anymore? Can you guys help me out? Yes, amazing how many caverns and caves and how deep they are. Not hollow so much as layers. Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to get people together every year. You know, I work on these events to try to get people together, and now everybody's turned against me because I don't go along with these ridiculous ideas. So it's like, you know, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? Well, you make this your last event, and then you switch gears and you go and you do something else because this ain't working. And that's what you do. I got a degree in rapology. Tardology. They have basically invented their own genre of conspiracy theory to make money, says Boston Ray. Exactly, Boston Ray. Exactly. So, okay, so now that makes sense. Now that makes sense because Karen is threatening my income by debunking it. Fuck you, Karen. Stop causing division. Hurting my paycheck. That's probably what it is, right? I have seen super high temperature crystal caves with big crystals. Yes, but the deeper the hotter, not logical to live in. Yeah, that's like the Nika mines, the giant selenite crystals in Mexico. That's a super high temperature crystal cave. Actually, they've let it reflood. It's all flooded. But I'm happy saying I don't know. Yeah. Only the mechanism works. You can see the hologram of the ring. It looks right there. Only you go to grab it and it's not. I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody wants to be a goddamn rock star lately. Truth or opportunist drives me nuts. That's what it is. That's what it is. And they don't even matter if what they're saying is they don't even care if it's bullshit. And if you dare say that what they're saying is not correct, if you be an opposing voice, then they turn their back on you. You fall out of favor. Because God forbid, why, how dare you want truth? FE festivals will turn to trash without your management. Well, I don't know what to do about that. Didn't I say Karen was effing with their money 10 minutes ago? She should play the speech from Kill Bill. Yeah. They take it personally too. Yeah. Yeah. Karen B, it's worked for me, Karen. You literally connected me with this awesome community face to face, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, Richard B. I'm glad. I will say that the positive part of everything that I've been doing over the years is that I do get a lot of messages from people who thank me because they've made lifetime friends, lifelong, major connections, friends that had never met face to face before. They were only friends online. The festival, the Flat Earth Festival, is where they've been able to meet in real life and sort of, make that real life connection. And then you become like, that's a real friendship. Not that you can't really be friends with somebody that you haven't physically met in person. I will never discount that because sometimes it's just not possible. People just don't have the means, but they still have a connection, right? They're still friends. But actually being with that person in real life, I mean, it's like, it's the pinnacle of that, right? Like it doesn't get any better than that. When you actually get to be with these people in person and hug them and drink and eat together and conversate and be in each other's presence and have your electromagnetic field sort of be able to touch and vibe and get that whole thing going together, because it's the best. It's the best. Like when I went to the first Flat Earth conference back in 2017, it was like being rejuvenated. It was like, oh, this is what I needed. I needed to be surrounded by real people who thought similarly about things that I do. Now, we don't all agree. We don't all have the same ideas, and that's totally cool. That's cool. But to be in a place where you could actually be with these people, connect face to face and just have these conversations, it's unbeatable. It's an unbeatable experience. And so when I experienced that, of course, I loved it and I wanted to go back to the next one, and I did. And then I wanted to go back to the next one, and I did. And then I started doing my own. I started doing my own conferences. And the first one I did was Flatoberfest of 2019, and it was very small. It wasn't big. It was one day, and it was amazing. And it's why I wanted to keep doing this, because I wanted to keep having that at least once a year get together where we could keep, reinvigorating each other and sort of keep the momentum going. Except everything took a weird turn, especially the last year or two. And people started pressuring me to include things in the Flat Earth Festival that I didn't want to include. And it's not because I am a gatekeeper, and it's not because, I want to shut people up or anything like that. It's because I didn't feel that it had a place in what I was doing. I just don't feel that things that don't have the truth or the motivation of finding truth behind them, I just don't feel like have a place in what I'm doing. So I chose not to include things like Tartaria, and all this other weird stories about history that people want to make up, because that's what they're doing. They are making stuff up. I just felt like that didn't have a place in what I was doing. And now I'm paying the price for that. I'm being shut out, ignored, tossed aside, whatever. And that's okay. Like, I didn't get into this to become popular or to have the biggest YouTube channel or to have 1 million views on a video. That was never my intention. Never. And it never will be my intention. And it will never be the source of motivation for me. So, is Stephanie Martin is Stephanie Martin spiraling? She likes her old world bullshit here, huh? She says, have you considered you are being more than an opposing voice? You get hateful to the point of offensive. Can somebody here tell me what I said that is hateful and offensive right now? Am I being hateful? See, now I'm being hateful. Stephanie Martin thinks I'm being hateful because I'm sticking to my I'm sticking to my guns, basically, is what I'm doing. I am sticking to what I feel is true, or what I believe to be true, or what I think is right. So now it's offensive. Do you see what I'm saying? Just because I stick to my ideas and my values and what I think to be true, I'm being told that I'm offensive. This is what I'm talking about. I appreciated the 2 Flatoberfest I got to make it out to. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad that you had a good time. I really am. That was always my intention. I just wanted everybody to have the best time and get together and be around each other and make friends and sort of, I was trying to build or help, not me. I mean, I don't want to be the leader of anything, but I was trying to help set up a place and a time where people could get together and build with each other, not with me, with each other, right? Where people could get together and make friends, or maybe find, relationships with people that they, that with people that have beliefs that align more with their new beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a lot of times flat earthers, they say they can't be in a relationship with a globe earther. And I get that, because it's such a difference. It really does change a lot of things when you wake up to flat earth. So, I get that, and where everybody's so spread out, because it's so random. You never know, who's going to wake up or who's not. Some people might never, so it's just become so difficult for people who are in this to have meaningful relationships with people that don't consist of arguing about, whether the earth is flat or not all the time. They just want to live with somebody who they know has waken up and who they know that they can move forward in life with, and not just be arguing all the time. I was looking for that. I was looking for being a part of helping to foster that, right? But it's just not going that way. Now it's like I'm being accused of causing division when all I ever wanted to do was get people together. That's really awesome, Richard. You did tell us that there was no snake venom in the drinking water, Karen. I'm still offended over that too. Yeah. I'm not even spiraling, Stephanie. I think you're the one who's spiraling. You're the one who's always typing in chat. Me. I'm not even spiraling. Phones ain't working? Shit. Well, it's open. Try again. I see that you called. Why am I not hearing it when it's calling in? Do you mind trying again, Tony? There it goes. I changed nothing. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B. Tony
Hey.
Coriolis.
Hey, good to hear from you.
Hey. Yeah, good to hear from you. And Karen, you're super 100 in my book. I hate how people, I see it firsthand. I told you that debate with Pockets of Survival guy, that was like one of my favorites, but people were so just vicious in the chat. People light you up, and I don't get it. I think part of the problem is I've been listening to all your shows for more than a year now, year and a half or something. Everyone's not listening to all the stuff you got to say. Then they're making like an opinion about you. I think that's totally BS. And I see a lot of people doing that to a lot of people nowadays, and you specifically, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Because I've been feeling that, and that's why I'm gotta make it make sense. What is it? What is it about me? It's basically because I don't agree with all of this stuff is the only reason I can think that it would be happening.
Yeah, and people think, a lot of people just think, oh, someone off the internet, they're not like a real person. I think you're so a real person, and I like that Sarah G said, you really are doing the real work of bringing people together, actually. Like, I only know Sarah G because of your event, and it really was the coolest fucking thing I've ever done. So, fuck everyone. They don't get it, and I don't care if they don't get it. You're 100% a straight shooter, and fuck them. But, it is just shit to deal with. I would love if everyone wasn't such a dick. And some of my favorite stuff that you've been on is actually like 3 different debates that you've been on. You went on the Pockets of Survival one. I said I liked that. Everyone was vicious towards you. And then the one time when you were on Kill a Priest, you remember that? You were with Dave Weiss,
yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought you were so good in that. And then also when they kind of forced your hand to call in to Duffy, I just thought you're killing it on everything that I'm seeing. I really would like to watch you debate more, but it is just such bullshit to deal with people being bullshit to you. So I totally see your side. You got no hard judgments from me, but yeah, everyone's a dick. I don't get why.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tony.
Yeah. And when I say everyone, not actually everyone, not everyone here.
I know.
Yeah, a lot of people.
It is a blanket
Karen,
statement.
for no reason.
But I feel like I do get an abnormal amount of flack from other people because everybody else is going along with all this nonsense and I'm just not.
Yeah. I know. And maybe, the debate is the best way to do it, but then people are jerks during the debate to you for no reason, and they're not listening to all your stuff that you've said, and I'm rocking with it, I'm with you. So.
Right on, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah, I gotcha. And then I was going to be kind of quick. Everyone else, feel free to call in. I was hoping someone else was going to, and at least maybe the phone wasn't working until I tried. So
I don't know.
Anyone else
weird,
can call in.
I saw your missed call, but I didn't hear it. And then but I checked it. It wasn't muted. I literally changed nothing. But the second time you called, I heard it. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, that's
Google
strange.
Voice. Google Voice is not very reliable.
Yeah. Technology.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. So I did my last week call about the whole pool being grounded. I said that I should have asked Andrew B. I did ask him yesterday, and I think he was pretty much saying that, yeah, the whole pool is grounded. It's like code and everything. And he's going to do more stuff on it, so I'll have more of an update on that. And they're going to be covering it, I think, on Tinfoil Sombrero. So I find that really interesting,
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Well, all right. Looking forward to Flatoberfest. It's the coolest thing ever, and can't wait to be out there.
All right. Thanks, Tony.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Now, Spicy Sarah's kind of hateful. In the early days, I tried to bring all the FE musicians together, but it got weird as well, Karen. I tossed the idea. Yeah. Because I said retarded. Hi, Trevor7. You I don't think I'm attacking anybody. All I've ever tried to do is say, I don't agree with that because XYZ. And then people just, Karen, you need to watch another video. You just haven't looked enough. Here's a 5-hour video to brainwash you with. Then you'll get it. Retarded simply means less advanced. Also, never use the word retarded when I am referring to actually disabled people. I reserve retarded for normal functioning adults who choose to do things that are not right, who choose to believe in dumb things. I'm hurting your feelings. It's true though, right? Yeah, here, watch another rocket launch and you'll believe we went to the moon. Yeah. Who invented the word globetard? I don't know. But I remember back in the day that Rob Skiba started using that word very early on. And I don't know where he got that from. But I remember... Oh, phone call. Okay. Phone's working, so that's good. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen.
Hi.
How you doing?
Great.
Are you? My name is, in the chat, I go by Gnome Digest. I don't participate that often. I don't know if you ever remember the chat of mine. But I have been watching you for a while. And I just wanted to call in about, you've talked about how it's changed so much in the last couple of years. And I was going to offer some observations about that, if you're interested.
Say that again, because your audio's a little hard to hear.
Sorry, you had mentioned that you were so fussy. Part of the reason you're frustrated is how much it seemed to change in the community over the last couple of years. And I was going to comment on that if you were interested.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a general theory about the Truth or Awakening experience as a whole. And I think ultimately for most people that go into it, it's basically the window dressing of a spiritual awakening. Like, people have spiritual awakenings all sorts of ways and through all sorts of different avenues as far as the window dressing of what it looks like. And one of them, I think, is this truth or awakening thing that happens. And I think that, like all spiritual awakenings, there are certain characteristics that help accentuate that process. And we've seen those in the past for, like, why people go to, like, a Buddhist temple, for example, to get solitude and isolation, and even take things like vows of silence to force that spiritual kind of process, or pain, vitriol, like walking on hot coals, or things like fasting, things like that are difficult, that kind of force that on you. And people actively have chosen to seek those things in the past. But I think what most truthers went through was an unconscious spiritual awakening, right? They didn't understand that that's what was happening to them. And so they started to have it, and then they unconsciously sought out the same kind of vitriol that you would do consciously when you go to those kind of things. So truthers started burning it down with their families, which is a way of reaching that isolation. Truthers stopped talking to their friends and family about these topics, which is almost like taking a vow of silence. As you get more and more isolated, I find that's just painful. It's just a trauma in itself. And so I think that kind of thing is why the truther journey is so similar across so many, as far as the isolation and the pain that kind of goes with it, because I think that helps bring out the spiritual awakening that they sort of started on. And then COVID, or the pandemic, just put that on steroids, because now everyone is having this intense vitriol in general in their life, which again is isolating them by locking them down. It's separating from their family. It's making it impossible to talk about the main topic of the world. And so it's the same kind of process that's helping you have this sort of spiritual awakening. It's pushing you into it. And so I think that's why we saw an explosion. To me, it felt like we saw an explosion of awakening throughout the pandemic, because people that were already sort of primed to start a spiritual awakening were given the environment that helps foster and push people into that. And then as the pandemic receded, like as far as like the intense vitriol and the pain and everything that causes them, there are people that only are going to continue on that path of spiritual awakening if they have all that pressure on them, forcing it to fucking happen. As soon as that pressure goes away, they're going to chill out. They're going to be like, oh, it's all calm again. I can chill. And as we as a truther community, for example, demonize media, like you can't listen to your music anymore, you can't watch your movies anymore, you can't watch your TV shows anymore. Like once all that receded and they wanted to go back to some form of entertainment and sort of normalcy, then we get all the crap that you've been seeing that frustrates you, because it's entertainment, right? Like they want to continue in the same zone of entertainment that they've had, but they can't do it with the old stuff. And so now we're dragging in this new stuff. And it sort of reminds me a little bit of what happened with some of that Christian truther revival, where like as soon as they found homesteading, they all got off the seeking path. They're like, oh, we found it. We found the panacea. We don't need to seek anymore. We now understand everything. That's it. It reminds me of that kind of thing. And so, like, it doesn't surprise me in some ways that 2014, and I was not awake to that kind of stuff back then. I mean, I was already into, like, you know, the 9/11s and shit like that, but not this. And it doesn't surprise me that it happened around then, in the sense that, in this country at least, 2008 started a lot of vitriol with that crash. And it, again, I think, started that kind of process of helping people have enough vitriol to actually start and kind of pursue that spiritual awakening by force. And then, you know, I think it was a mixture of awakening and entertainment as things went on, and then the pandemic just intensified the whole experience. And now as it recedes, we're seeing where everyone is kind of laying out. The people that continue to seek because they're still driven to, and the ones that want to get off and take a break and explore, you know, I call it National Geographic truthers, is what I feel like they are.
Yeah. That's actually not a bad breakdown of what's been going on.
I mean, I don't know your community well enough. I mean, I know the chat and things like that to some degree, but I've never met you guys in person. I've never hung out at like events. So I don't really know your community well enough to even comment on why you particularly get so much hate, other than because you're a public figure that commanded a lot of respect in that specific zone of flat Earth. It just adds, you know, people are going to feel intimidated when you start to disagree with them, and then the best way to end the uncomfortableness of that intimidation is disconnect from you. And the most, you know, incendiary way to do it, to make sure that the disconnect happens, is to have these kind of public spats that are just retarded. I don't even think it's about, like, I think it has more to do about your prominence than what you're saying or how you're saying it.
I don't even feel like I'm that prominent. I have a smaller channel than most of the others, you know, so I just don't get it.
Well, but you're prominent inside your community. Like, it seems like you said, you lost a lot of friends. You lost people inside your own community. So I think it's the prominence within your own community.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I
mean, I don't mean to suggest that like makes it cool. Okay.
Well, no, I don't think you are, but I'm seeing where you're coming from, and it makes sense to me. I kind of agree with it.
But yeah, that's the main thing. I just think that if we would understand more, and that's what I'm actually telling my normie friends now. I'm trying to help them understand truthers by saying, look, guys, don't get intimidated or weirded out because they think this or think that or whatever. A lot of that's going to change. That's just the window dressing. Like, you should be excited and happy that they are going through a personal spiritual awakening that's beautiful. And that's kind of how I'm trying to explain it to them so that they can, like, forget about the other stuff, but just realize they're going through this really cool personal thing. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for your input. And thanks for watching.
Go ahead.
And thanks for watching my shows.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And, I saw Marty Leeds thing yesterday, so I kind of knew that you would have a comment or two after you had mentioned in his chat, like in support in the comment section kind of thing. And I'm like, it's like, I'll admit, like, as a person who just views these things and does in part view this as entertainment, like, I acknowledge that part of what I do this is definitely entertainment. And it is salaciously fun to watch you guys sort of take people to task, right? So, I'll plead the normie likes Netflix kind of salacious enjoyment of that kind of feud and fight. So I think you're going to find that there's energy for it on both sides of the thing, which is unfortunate because, like, I do think ultimately you and the Marty Leeds type are more comfortable disconnecting from that bullshit and then not having to re-engage over and over. But for a lot of us as viewers, there's going to be a salacious enticement there to have that happen again. You know what I mean?
There's going to be a what?
A salacious, like, excitement to see the fight. Like, the fight spectacle.
Oh, yeah.
Viewers,
People love watching conflicts. I know.
Right. So, and I get for you guys, it's the opposite. The conflict part is not, like, I'm not saying you enjoy it at all, but it's just, it becomes so tiresome.
Yeah, it's very draining. Yeah. All right.
Well, at least I will say the only beautiful thing about some of these kind of things is they are nice apocalypses where you can... sometimes I like to say that, I think that we're seeing stuff that was already there that we couldn't see before. And this is just kind of revealing it. You know, like you've lost friends, but you now understand some of those friendships better. Or at least that's how I would think about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for calling.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Interesting outlook. One of the biggest challenges of waking up is not becoming isolated. Right, MFT? Because it does feel very isolating, which is another reason why I, spent so much time trying to get people together and get people to make friends, because it is so isolating. It is extremely isolating because everybody, that's why I'm saying, like earlier I was saying how naive I was in the very beginning. I thought everybody would want to know truth. So I went around and started talking about it to everybody, and they're like, are you stupid? Have you lost your mind? Are you retarded? I got called retarded. I didn't go cry about it. CMG invented the word space cunt. Well, that is actually okay. I approve of that one. Thank you, Richard B., for gifting memberships to the channel. Thank you, sir. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, but sometimes you have to just replace it entirely. Don't breathe life into stupid stuff by constantly addressing it. Well, I try not to, but then people bring it to me. It's like everywhere. It's infected everything. It's like gotten to where you can't even have a normal conversation without it going that way. I mean, look at when Mark Sargent went on the Jim Brewer show, and 3 times they tried to get him to start talking about old world bullshit. So it's like we can't even, now that we're finally to the place where we can like start having these flat earth conversations on bigger platforms, on bigger shows, it's like it can't even just be flat earth. It has to be flat earth, and then it has to be tainted with old world Tartaria nonsense. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen. I just want to add on to what that last caller was talking about. That was really insightful.
Mm-hmm.
And just yesterday, I sent an email to my brother and sister with a link to one of Dan Dick's latest videos. that he just put out?
Who?
He's Press for Truth, Dan Dix.
Okay.
Do you know who he is?
Press for Truth. Yes, I do. He's the Canadian, like,
Yeah.
independent
Yep.
media guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I sent him that link, and the subject line of the email I sent to my brother and sister was, LOL, this keeps happening to, quote, truthers, unquote. and it was because he was kind of breaking down the whole thing at the Olympics, the shit show at the Olympics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like the second half of his video, he was going on and on about Christianity, and he was very clearly, he had at some point has become a Christian. And I've been watching Dan's stuff since like 2013. And I didn't know that had happened, or if he's been Christian all along. But like the last caller was saying, that exact same thing happened to me. I mean, I started waking up in 2013 to what the world is, and all the evil, all the crap, and all the false flags, and negative, and massively black-pilled for a really long time. But some of the things I was looking into, for example, the reality of giants having been a real thing, I would look into the Bible to see what the Bible really said about giants. I don't know, just out of curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
And started learning about what Nephilim are. And by the way, I grew up Catholic and I went to Catholic school, so it wasn't like the Bible was totally foreign to me. But I'd been agnostic my whole adult life. But gradually, I started looking at the Bible with new eyes, but I was still very much into the dark truther stuff. But I realized, now that I know evil is real and actually exists, and there's some evil spiritual shit going on, there has to be good too.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I accidentally turned into a Christian. I'm totally down with what that last caller was saying. And by the way, it's hilarious he brought up a Buddhist monastery and taking a vow of silence. Guess who did that too? Me.
Did you?
In Nepal. Yeah. Just because I love keeping my brain active and learning new stuff, and I'd always been curious about Buddhism. I've always been curious about all kinds of different religions. So I thought, you know what? I found this monastery where they give not English speaking classes. They teach about Buddhism in English. And so once in a while I would go live there, at the monastery. And at one point did the whole vow of silence for 3 days, which is a fascinating experience. I highly recommend it if you can swing it at some point. It's incredibly difficult at first. But man, it really has an amazing effect. I'll just say that. But it was just funny that last caller mentioned both of those things, and that was my experience. So the last thing I was thinking about from his call was, the Tartaria stuff, and it gets more and more elaborate, and more things get added to it, like free energy and
free energy that nobody can actually explain or show.
Right. They just say because Tesla.
Right?
What?
And you're just supposed to plug those holes yourself and be like, yes, free energy.
Yeah. and then the cathedrals were healing centers, and et cetera, et cetera.
See, now that part I actually find interesting, and that could have some truth to it because of the frequencies being healing frequencies and the cathedrals being built to certain proportions.
That's true.
That's
Maybe
like the one part of it. There's a few interesting little subjects that are sort of get swept up away with this Tartarian stuff that are interesting and probably do have some information to be gleaned from, but it gets all wrapped up in this Tartarian package, and then like the meaningful stuff is getting left behind.
And just the general concept of, well, let me put it this way. I firmly believe that before the flood, there was crazy technology that we don't know anything about. And there's evidence of that all over the world in the megaliths. And so the Tartarian people have that same kind of concept. They just say it's really recent, right?
Well, I don't know. See, here's the thing. I've watched this Old World Order movie like 6 times. For someone who doesn't agree with it, I'm telling you, I've watched that movie 6 times, end to end. And they contradict themselves.
Never watched it.
Yeah, well, you should watch it. It's very interesting. Not because like what they're saying is actually true. It's just interesting to see, you know, if you are aware of what's going on, if you agree with me at all about anything, and then you go watch that movie, you'll see what they're doing. It's a manipulation. It's a grift. They basically the whole movie is them. First of all, they contradict themselves constantly in the movie. They say, "Oh, it's from a ancient civilization long ago that they're hiding from us." And then in the next scene, it's like, "Oh, this stuff isn't old. It's new. It's recent." Well, is it ancient or is it new? Did we, you know, and then they can't decide if we had the technology to build that stuff and it was built by giants, or the next scene they're saying, "Oh, we used to build with such purpose and everything was so beautiful and customized," right? And customization. But then in the beginning of the movie, they're sitting there telling you that the same buildings are all over the whole earth. They all look the same. But then in the next thing, it's like, "Oh, we used to actually customize stuff and make it look special and put artistry into stuff." So it's like
contradictions.
They constantly contradict themselves, for one thing, and then they make claims in there that are patently false, like they're straight up lies. Mm-hmm. You know, so
on that specific point, just as an example, you know how they talk about the unbelievable masonry with all the really ornate stuff and care they used to put onto the old buildings in like the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that explained very simply in a video quite a while back. Those were molds, and they had some kind of special, not like concrete, kind of similar to concrete, but they had mold companies, and they sold these molds all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so people could very easily just slap super ornate looking masonry.
Yep.
Onto the facades of the buildings.
Yes.
That's all that was.
Yes. They're like Legos. The old buildings that are all fancy, that they keep referring to as old glorious buildings, the most exquisite architecture from the guy who builds yurts, right? He's in there talking about, "It's the most exquisite architecture I've ever seen." They're fucking Legos.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But to pull back up to a high level view, like that last caller was talking about, I think there is a need, and in myself, it ended with me becoming Christian, which I never saw coming in a million years. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Tartaria people get so mad because that is where they ended up. I know this sounds kind of wild, but they're kind of spiritual about it. It's a belief system that's been constructed, and it's not really, like we were just saying, it's not really based on facts like provable stuff like flat Earth is, but it's become kind of their spiritual religion in a way. It's a belief system, and when you start getting into that stuff, it's easy to feel attacked, I guess, and to get really immediately defensive.
Yeah, I see that happen a lot. They get very defensive. Yeah. They're like, "You're causing division." That's when they start throwing stuff at me, like accusing me of doing all this stuff. And I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm just looking at the data, and I don't come to the same conclusion as you. And here I'm showing you why, and then you guys are telling me, oh, that's fake." You know, like even in that movie in Old World Order, they use photos to show evidence of giants, and then in the next scene they tell you that the photos of the construction are fake. So are the photos real or are they fake? They go on this whole thing about how the photos are manipulated. They used airbrushing techniques on old photos back in history, which we all know this is not a secret. But then they turn around and they use photos as evidence to prove their point. And then photos that contradict their idea are fake. In the same movie.
Yeah, it really is. I think the last caller is really onto something. Yeah. I think they're truthers that ended up in this, I'm sorry, but frankly weird, almost spiritual place with all the Tartaria stuff.
Is it spiritual?
Well, to them it is. And I don't think they think it's spiritual, but like the last caller said, I think...
Or are they taking a break from their spiritual awakening to go mess around in Fantasyland and sort of be relieved of having to actually do any sort of inner work?
Ah, good point. Yeah, it could be, but nonetheless, it's a spiritual outlet for them. But of course, you're making a really good point. It doesn't take any of the usual inner spiritual work. Right. Anyway, that last caller really fired up my mind.
I know. But this is sort of a thing that I've been struggling with for weeks now. This whole whatever's going on. Months, probably, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yep. Well, all right. That's all I got.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Hang in there.
All right. Yeah. Legos are exquisite. Don't be so divisive. Christians are even guilty of using terroristic fear tactics themselves when threatening eternal damnation to those that don't believe. Yeah. Yeah, man. They exited off the seeker path in an odd-ass spot. Real ones and fake ones? What are you talking about? What did I don't know what you're referring to, Boston Ray. There's real ones and fake ones? You talking about, photos? Maybe photos. The only religion not bogged down by needy, selfish deities is Buddhism. Stephanie Martin says, not coming to the same conclusion isn't a reason to belittle them. Your words are harsh and you know they are. You have faced the same opposition about FE. Did it seem okay to be called an idiot? Well, no, but listen, Stephanie, here's the thing. You think that I went straight to calling names. You don't think that I actually looked at stuff, and I did. And then I tried to say why I thought it was wrong, and people didn't. See, you don't get it. You don't get it, Stephanie. You don't get that I'm not always like this. I only got to that point when I got frustrated because I felt like nobody listens to what I'm saying. Just like Tony said, nobody's listening. They're just waiting for their turn to talk. Oh, but Karen, you didn't watch enough videos. Oh, but Karen, what about this? Oh, this, that. Oh, you didn't see this. You don't know what research they've done. You haven't watched all the videos I've watched. That's when I got to the point where I was like, okay, you know what? This is bullshit and it's retarded. Because when you know, it's like you try so hard to say, hey, you know what? I disagree. That doesn't make sense to me. Well, what about this? I did do that in the beginning. I was just trying to put forth like an opposing voice in a not a confrontational way. I mean, I guess it's always confrontational if you're disagreeing with somebody. I mean, it's hard not to be, but you don't get it. This has been going on for years. And so when you deal with something constantly for years and years and you keep saying the same thing and it's like nobody's listening to what you're saying, then you get frustrated. That's where I'm at. I'm frustrated because I don't feel like anybody is listening or has listened or even bothers to look at things that are in opposition to their newfound belief, right? Because they are a flat earther and they figured that out and now they know everything. They have the king discernment of all, right? I could never be fooled again because now I'm a flat earther. Right. I am popping in my headphones again. It's driving me nuts. Legos rule. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Ted. Mr. One-to-One, I've done loads of research on melted buildings and I think it's BS. Thank you. You know, people act like I never looked into stuff. I will never get that time back. Do you know how dumb I felt after watching that stuff? And I was trying to understand because, like I said earlier, I was losing friends. They were getting all pissed. I said, okay, let me go look at this stuff. And then I couldn't believe it. I was like, how did these people manage to brainwash themselves into believing that this is actually a possibility to be true? How? I mean, you can sit here and talk about, like I said, like I'm into crystals and minerals and geology. So if I ask these people, well, what happens when XYZ material gets melted and they can't explain it or they don't know, you know, or where did the bricks come from? You know, it's like they can't answer any of the important questions to like show that there's any truth to what they're saying. Like, don't you get it? Wouldn't you be, why is it not okay for me to be frustrated when there's a bunch of people pushing absolute rubbish as truth? How come I'm not allowed to be frustrated with that? So what, I'm just supposed to keep my mouth shut and sing Kumbaya and be like, oh, flat earth, that's all that matters. Let's all be friends. Doesn't matter if the person over there is feeding you complete lies and sending you on a wild goose chase and lying to you about how materials work and lying to you about the properties of said materials and lying to you about stuff. They're just making stuff up, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm okay if I watch a bunch of people go believe lies. It's okay. I'll just sit over here and be happy about it. Cha-la-la. You know, like, why is that not okay? Why is it not okay to have righteous anger about stuff? If you really believe that people are being deceived, it's like the same feeling I got when I realized the earth was flat. Oh my God, people are being deceived. Well, now I see it, the flat earthers doing it to other flat earthers or to everybody. Why is that okay? Why am I required to be okay with that? Josh Mudge, hello everyone, came in on an intense moment. I guess the whole show's been intense. A lot of old cultures carved buildings out of rock. Yes. And Mr. One-to-One, people want to say that that the buildings that were carved out of rock are like some like ancient mystery, or it was melted, right? And it's a pocket of survival. But the rock that these people were carving their homes out of are sandstone and limestone, which are like two of the easiest types of rock to carve. They're so easy. And like you can go and research and go look online about people carving stone, because they still do it today. And they use basically the same tools, a hammer and a chisel. Of course, now the chisels are pneumatically powered, so they're like, it's like way faster. You don't have to sit there and like hammer at it. It's pneumatic, but it's basically the same tool. It's basically the same thing. I mean, just all I can say is go look it up for yourself. You know, I feel like nobody ever does that. They just hear something and then they hear somebody say that and then they assume it's true because the person says, go look it up yourself. But really, seriously, go look it up yourself. You know, take the time. Like when I'm reading this book or any book and I read something and then I'm like, is that true? Is that really a thing? I stop. I go to the internet and I start typing around and like looking around. I'm like, well, let me just see if is that really a thing? Oh, it is. Okay, I'll just keep going. I feel like nobody does that? They're not worthy? Who's not worthy? A chisel. 1111. It's 11:11. Spirits listening. 11:11. New resonate. Beginning. Reflect. Visualize. Opportunity. 11:11. Spirit listens. Knows more than we do. Visions manifest. In line. Manifest your reality. And we're back. Billingtano, has anyone seen a real stonemason create blocks for stone buildings? It's amazing what one can do with a hammer and a chisel and some rock. Seriously, if you know which way the rock cleaves, you can crack it right in half. And if you try to crack it from the opposite side, it will do nothing. It will reject your tool. Like, that's what I'm saying. You have to have knowledge of the material, knowledge of the stones, of the mineral that you're working with. And then you will be amazed. You'll be amazed. You know, it's funny, like that stupid G.I. Joe cartoon. I remember when I was little, them pounding that into your head. Knowing is half the battle. Knowing is half the battle. That's a fucking lie. Knowing is like 95% of the battle. Knowing is everything. So if you know what material you're working with, you will be amazed what you can do when you understand the material. And this is part of the knowledge that's lost. Like the other caller saying that, oh, back then they probably had some crazy technology that we don't know about. Yeah, it was probably like knowledge of earth and minerals and like working knowledge of the realm is probably what they had. You know, like when I think about technology that like they could have had, you know, because I'm not outside of them having being smarter than what we were told, right? I absolutely think the ancients were much smarter than what we're told, but I also think that it's different. Like, I don't think about ancient technology like the way we have technology, like computer screens and microphones and this shit. Like, it's gonna look and feel completely different. The technology of the ancients, I feel like, is nothing like what we know now. Like, nothing. because maybe they had a better understanding. Maybe they had a truer understanding of the realm because they weren't being programmed by a bunch of evil globalists who hijacked the education system and then trained everybody to be their slaves. I believe there was giants who used to live here, and a lot of massive architecture we could have been left over for them. Well, there were giants. I believe there were giants too. Like, I don't discount giants. See, that's the thing. I think this whole subject, like, they take things that there's truth to and they wrap it up into their thing, and it's like they're hijacking this stuff. They're like co-opting the cathedral sound healing sort of subject, co-opting the subject of giants and turning it into their ancient history story, right? When that's, like, there probably were giants, I would say that I would lean more towards yes than no that there were giants, but were the giants Tartarians? No, I don't believe that for a second. Could the giants have built some of these megalithic structures? Yeah. Maybe some of the ancient megalithic things were partially built or additionally built by giants. But, that's a long time ago. I don't believe that I don't know about giants in like more recent times playing that type of role, because there's just not any sort of text or anything to back that up. And here's the thing. The world is a very big place. There have been billions and billions of people in existence who have lived their lifetimes and have left their evidence or their impression on the plane of what has happened around them. And you would think that if there was something like this, there would be much, much more evidence to uncover it than the lack of that there is now. Than the people that just go around and they have to make suggestive videos and suggestive text and omit information, basically lie by omission to perpetuate these stories. I mean, don't you guys see what's happening? No one's right about everything. I agree, no one's right about everything. I mean, that's like, I feel like I still don't know shit. I feel like I've learned a whole bunch of stuff over the last 10 years. I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot. And I still feel like I don't know anything. And that's what frustrates me, is like I see people around me, and not to say that I'm better than them, but I feel like I have a better grasp of an understanding of things than some of these people. And they're going around spreading these stories like they're truth, like they figured out some amazing discovery. I'm sorry. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Hey, Chicago artist. John Keeley, because then you aren't taking Google's word for it unless you look into some dark places. What do you mean? So what, these people are using the internet to find their information. I'm not allowed to do that. So I can't use the internet to debunk the information that these people are finding from the internet. Because I'm telling you right now, none of these people actually go to these places. They don't actually go there. Ewar, remember Ewar, who made the Lost History of Flat Earth series? He actually went to these places, and that's when he realized he was wrong about what he was saying. Like, I went to Europe back in 1999. It's been a long time. But I went to Europe. I went to France. I went to Italy. I went into many, many cathedrals. Well, in Italy, they're called Duomos, but I went into every Duomo in every city that we went to in Italy. I went into the Duomo in Florence. I went into St. Peter's Basilica. I went into the one in Venice, Milan, Rome. Okay, well, Rome, I guess that's where St. Peter's Basilica is, right? But like every city that we went to, every major city that had a Duomo, I went inside. And I went and I climbed up these back passages to go to the dome in Florence. Okay. people want to say that buildings like that were built by giants. Now, maybe giants helped. I can't really say I wasn't there. But it wasn't built for giants. See, that's the problem. A lot of people, like in that Old World Order movie, they imply that the big buildings were built for big people. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Because once you go inside the cathedral, now that's not to say that the big door and the big ceilings and everything weren't accommodating for people of a larger stature. Yeah, sure. But there are places inside those cathedrals that I'm telling you right now, no giant is going to get inside of those places. None. Because like there's these, to get to the Florence and Dome, the Dome in Florence. Sorry, said that backwards. Let me look up Florence Dome. This, right? I went to Florence. I went inside of this Duomo. I went up here, up in this dome. Do you know how to get there? You know how you get to this dome? You have to go up a little skinny, dark passageway, an ancient little passageway with stone steps that have a dip in them from people wearing it out over the centuries. And it's like literally this skinny. It's like just barely skinny enough for people to walk through. You have to go single file. Okay. And that's how you get to some of these hard to reach places in some of these Duomos. So I want you people to explain to me, why would a giant build a building with a bunch of places where he can't even get to himself? Can anybody explain that to me? Because every time I went into these places, if you want to go to the cool and to these churches, these Duomos, if you want to get to the cool site, the tall places, the dome, you know, even in Paris, we went inside of the one that just burnt, Notre Dame. We went into Notre Dame, and we go, and to get up to those little balconies on the side where you see people sometimes, you have to walk up these little skinny stairways that will that would never fit a giant. I'm telling you, it would never fit a giant. So I don't understand, you know, why people can go and make these claims that all these big buildings were built for giants by giants. Well, then how come when you go to them, there's a bunch of small passageways and normal sized doorways throughout on different little parts of these cathedrals? Can somebody explain that to me? And can somebody explain to me why, if it's so advanced, how come they're always working so hard to restore these buildings? I mean, if you go inside, you'll see like metal straps, you know, and iron bars and stuff laden around the sides of some of the cathedrals, because they're reinforcing them, because they're falling apart, because they're so old. So to me, like, when I see people talking about, oh, it's so advanced and it's all Tartarian, it's like, well, I've actually been to some of these places and I've actually walked inside of them. And what you're saying doesn't make sense based on what I witnessed in real life with my own eyes. So how about that? Stephanie, why are you here? Do you just sit here and bitch all the time? Like, you want to talk about me being hateful. All you're doing in my chat is bitch, bitch, bitch. You don't know shit. You're so hateful. Blah, blah, blah. Why don't you just fuck off? Well, then what can we believe unless it's hands-on investigation? Right? I mean, that's what we used to go for, but now nobody does that anymore. Why is that? Why not? I'm down with hands-on investigation. 100%. Let's investigate. In fact, that's why I want to start focusing on doing other stuff. I want to start doing on-location filming and stuff of things, because sitting here on YouTube, it's like, I'm just getting sucked into arguments with people who are making shit up. You know? Why? It's a waste of time. April street used to be New Year's. If I built a monument to my creator, you can bet it would be massive and mind-blowing, ornate and incomprehensible. Yeah. Yeah, people used to have motivations beyond money to build these things. Well, you can melt a brick. You can melt just about anything if you get it hot enough. The thing is that the bricks don't melt and then turn into a quartz crystal. The bricks don't melt and then turn into sandstone. The bricks don't melt and then turn into marble mountains, okay? The bricks don't melt and then turn into all these different minerals and stuff that we find inside of mountains. Like, I've gone over this before. I don't repeat myself a ton. Maybe I should be repeating myself because repetition works, I guess. But like, if you go look at, quarries, look at any rock quarry or mining quarry, they're literally mountain-sized crystals the size of mountains. And that is where we get like our marble tiles, or any sort of like cool tile or countertop, quartz countertop, granite countertop, anything that you get that is made from like a giant slab of that sort of crystalline material. That literally came from a giant mountain, a giant crystal the size of a mountain. Now, they don't tell you that way. They call them mountains, and I'm okay calling them mountains, but some of these mountains have beautiful crystalline material inside, and we find them and we quarry them and we put them in our architecture and in our homes, and we make things beautiful. We make carvings out of them. You know, it's basically humans taking advantage of the bounty of the earth. I've melted a brick of hash. That's funny. I think she is emotionally attached because she's the one in here who's like taking the most offense by what I'm saying. There's a lot more interesting and mind-blowing things about the past in this old world fan fiction. Yeah, I agree. Ancient architectures are best proof of what? Sharif, as a musician, the contrast of your righteous and justified anger with the soft coffee talk music is quite yeah, people have commented that before, that I'll sit here and I'll go on a rant and then it's like do 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 do. Spoiler alert, the creator is the resetter, Sarah G. Yes. I don't believe anybody can reset the realm except for the creator. So like, everybody with their reset here and reset there and multiple resets, I'm sorry, the only person that I believe can actually reset the realm is the creator. And it was reset with the flood. And maybe we're heading towards another one. You know, like, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what's going on. But amen, sister. Everyone do your own homework. You are all unique and we all have different opinions, which makes us so unique. I agree. But some people don't do any homework. They just watch a video and they think that is the homework. Oh, I watched a video and now I know this. Well, it's cool. Watch the video and then go verify it. Go do some secondary research about it. Go try to look up opposing opinions about it, because, like, that's what we all did when we became flat earthers, right? We all believed we live on a globe, but then we had to go look at opposing opinions about the globe. We saw that we were wrong. We corrected our beliefs, And that's just the way it is. But I feel like people don't do that anymore. You know? People just don't want to do the due diligence on anything. Like, I got to the point where anything and everything that comes across me, my timeline, my vision, my feed, right? I question it and I try to find, different stuff about it. A second source. It's like the rules of journalism, right? Classic journalism is you need to have a story verified by two independent sources. So not one source, not two that are together, two separate, independent sources that have individually come to the same conclusion is a verified story that is now worth publishing. So why so much divide that she's part of the reason? Well, why am I part of the reason? Because I'm not going along with bullshit. So, and I put a quote on Facebook a while back. I said, truth will divide a world based on lies, and lies will divide a system that is seeking truth, right? A group that is searching for truth will be divided by lies. That's what's going on right now. It's being divided by lies. It's not me. You're blaming me because you have an emotional attachment to your belief system. And so now you're thinking I'm causing division. That's what you're doing, Stephanie. Because I don't care what people believe. I told them many times, I don't care what you believe. Just keep it out of my face. But people don't want to do that. They want to try to shove it down your throat. They want to try to make you put it on stage. But I'm not doing that. I'm just not. Hello, Fazook Films. Good to see you. Those mountains are giant tree stumps, and there's a lot of evidence they are. Then we're probably also giants. In Bible, the 10 spies side, we looked like grasshoppers compared to the giants. Actually, okay. There's a lot to break down there. There's no evidence that those are giant trees. I would like to know what the evidence is besides a visual similarity that those mountains are giant trees. Because we know what petrified wood is. I've gone over this. We know what petrified wood is, petrified and fossilized wood. We know how to identify it. We know how to positively identify petrified wood. It's a known substance. We know the properties of it. I've got a few pieces of it. I can go grab them. Right? But then people just assign those properties to these mountains without having tested it. This is what I'm talking about when people assign new properties to materials without doing any tests. So we know that what petrified wood looks like because there's a petrified forest in Arizona that everybody's familiar with. Like, everybody knows about petrified wood. Hey, remember the rocks that were found on the moon? Hey, they tested them and they found out they were petrified wood. So we know how to identify what petrified wood is. So I would like to know if anybody ever went to any of these mountains that they claim are ancient trees and then tested them to actually be a tree or a petrified wood or a petrified tree stump. Because the only evidence that people use is a visual similarity. And I'm sorry, but a visual similarity between a tree stump and a mountain is not proof that one is equal to the other. So can you please explain to me what evidence that you have seen that proves that those are giant trees? And don't just go, oh, why don't you go watch such and such guy who looks at all the giant trees in Colorado. No, he doesn't. He looks at mountains and rocks and minerals and he says they're trees. He doesn't do any tests. He hasn't brought forth any lab work or anything to prove any sort of what do you call it? Refraction test or nothing, no testing of materials to say, hey, look, this is actually from an ancient tree. Everybody just believes it. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Why is that okay? Perfect example of what? Oh my God, is this real? Is this real? Holy crap. Oh my gosh, Ray. Hold on, let me save these in a folder so I can share them. The moon is a giant tree stump. That's funny, Billingtano. I'm surprised nobody has said that. Think not that I come to bring peace, but a sword. Jesus. Truth divides. It does. God, Stephanie, you're like one of those whiner chicks that I can't stand being around. If you cut a tree the size of a mountain, it would grow from the stump up, right? Why didn't 10 trees sprout out of the stump that they cut down? And who cut it down? And how did they cut it down? And with what? Pareidolia, yeah. I mean, seriously, how come everybody's just allowed to make claims on what things are without doing any sort of testing on it or anything? Nothing. Like nothing. See, this is what it's confusing to me because like minerals and crystals and all these different materials, they all have different properties, you know, they all exhibit different things, they all work different ways. And everything that you and I use and know is made out of these things, right? A lot of the technology, every piece of technology that you guys use has some sort of crystalline material inside of it and is used for that. You know, it's like basically all made of crystals and crystalline material. Okay. So the reason that we're able to make these things with these materials is because we understand how they work and we understand the properties of them. They have known properties, right? They're known. So we use these things to build things. But then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, for some crazy YouTuber person to come on YouTube and just start assigning new properties to these known materials that we use in our everyday lives to build and make things. And everybody's just okay with it. Like without any sort of explanation, without any lab work or testing or, I mean, because I'm sorry, you're going to have to do some lab work and some serious testing. You're going to need to show that you have identified what that material is and that it is a petrified tree stump. Otherwise, you're just talking out of your ass. A giant chainsaw. Yeah, I did get that email. Hold on, let me show you. Let me show you guys what Ray sent me. And it's crazy because this is what I'm talking about. It is so... It's kind of sad. It makes me wonder, like, what, you know, what happened to these people? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what happened? So this is what Ray sent me. These are both the same. Only one got touched by the X factor. What do you mean they're both the same? What's the same? These are both the same, only one got touched by the X factor, one got spared. There are only 2 sources of water in the same fenced-in park. They were most likely identical prior to the event. So this guy is thinking that there's some X Factor event that happened in this park, in a modern park, and we don't know about it? Like, how do you get to this point where you think that a fountain in your park was somehow affected by an X Factor event that we never heard or know about? You know, does it make sense? Is this all the same post? Oh, here's another one. Oh, okay, so he's saying that this brick is the same as this. It's just that one got zapped by the X Factor. So this is the same as this, is what this guy is saying. This one got affected by the X Factor event, and this didn't. See, this is why I get frustrated, and this is why I start using words like retard. That's retarded. That's retarded. This is what I'm talking about. You know? So this guy thinks that this water fountain is the same thing as this water fountain. This water fountain was zapped by the X Factor event, and this one was in a pocket of survival. That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about, you guys. What do you think about all that? They are addicted to the endorphin rush they got when finding FE. Yes, raised by gypsies. Sorry, I was just checking the chat. Leo Slayer. Hi, Karen. Long time no see. Mud flood is muddying the water. Yes. Us guys like going into tiny holes. The critically thinking Karen B is why I tune in. Thanks, Sufi Bear. Oh, the phones are working now. They're working. We figured it out. Ezekiel 31, I'll read it right now, effed up world, because I looked in the scripture for everything about giant trees, and I couldn't find anything that actually had any... Ezekiel what? 31, let's read it right now. See, people think I don't look. I look. All right. Where does it say? Oh, this one. Okay, well, effed up world, I've looked at this, and this is not proof of giant trees, and I'll tell you why. So this is Pharaoh to be slain, Ezekiel 31, and it came to be in the 11th year in the 3rd month of the 1st of the new moon that the word of Jehovah came to me, saying, Son of man, say to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and to his crowd, to whom are you to be compared in your greatness? See, it's a comparison. See, Ashur was a cedar in Lebanon, beautiful branches and forest shade, and of high stature, and its top was among the thick foliage. The waters made him great, and the deep gave it height with its rivers running around its planting, and sent their channels to all the trees of the field. Therefore its height was lifted up above all the trees of the field, and its boughs were increased, and its branches came along because of the many waters as it sent them out. All the birds of the heavens made their nests in its boughs and under its branches. All the beasts of the field gave birth, and in its shadow all great nations dwelt. And it was beautiful in greatness and in the length of branches, for its roots reached many waters. Cedars in the garden of Elohim did not hide it. Fir trees were not like its boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like its branches. No tree in the garden of Elohim was as pretty as it. So it's saying, the first right here, this line right here, basically that's not talking about an actual tree. Son of man, say to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and to his crowd, to whom are you to be compared in your greatness? So that right there tells you it's not talking about an actual tree. It's an allegory for, behold, the Assyrian, let's KJV. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon, right? The Assyrian. So who are we talking about? Ashur, the second son of Shem, eponymous ancestor of the Assyrians, the nation Assyria. Okay, so it could also be talking about the nation of Assyria, talking about the nation was big and its branches reached everywhere and it touched many streams. Like, this is how scripture describes things quite a bit. and this isn't the only time that, a large tree is used as a descriptor for something in scripture, but this is a description of a king and its nation and saying how big and beautiful it was and how, and that it was just a big empire, but it's not talking about an actual tree. At least that's what I get out of it. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him. Right? So it's talking about Ashur, not an actual tree. So that's why I'm saying, like, I made this video. It's on my channel. It's called Giant Trees Not in Scripture or the Book of Enoch, because I went through all that. Those are water fountains. One probably had some leaky pipes. The apprentice made one and the journey one made the other. So what are mountains? Mountains are mountains. Why does it have to be something else? Mountains are giant crystalline formations on the surface of the earth. That's what mountains are. Why does it have to be something else? Why does everything have to be something else? What do you think about the 10 spies in the Bible saying we look like grasshoppers upside them? Because they were saying that in that nation where Yehovah was telling the Israelites that they were going to go, into this land and they were going to beat these people. They were like sent some spies, and then the spies come back and they're like, "Bro, there's a bunch of giants over there. We're like grasshoppers. We can't do this." It's just saying that there were giants there. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hi, Karen. I come in waving a white flag.
Who's this? Is this Stephanie?
Stephanie. Yeah. So I never meant to cause any animosity, and I think if you scroll back through there, I don't talk about Tartaria.
Okay.
And so whenever I first started watching it, I thought you posed the question in the beginning of the whole show. Why such divide? Why is there so much animosity and divide? And it's really pulling apart the audiences. Once again, Team A, Team B, black, white, red, blue, whatever. And that's happening. And in all my comments, I was trying to say that it is offensive to call people retards. And I do have a personal thing to go with it.
But that's your problem. 70s, that's your problem. That's your problem.
What I was pointing out to you that it is also offensive to others. And so if you're asking why such divide, maybe it's the offensive speech.
So is it just because I use the word retard?
I don't believe in it. I'm good with that.
Is it just the word
not just
retard?
The word no. It's not just the word retard. That's I even put it out there. I think everyone there has been watching that it is my personal offense. But that's all I've said is you're asking why such divide. Well, did you face this in the beginning of your flat earth experience? Because I've watched some hellacious debates where lots of things are thrown around. One of them with Greg Carlwood back in the day. That was one of the first ones I saw where a live event, the conversation got people pretty heated. Wait. People were ready to throw down.
Who? Can you say that again? What?
Greg Carlwood, the THC podcast.
I don't recall.
He was doing flat Earth. He was at a big conference doing flat Earth conversations on stage, and people were getting pretty heated. So I've seen it going pretty far back that the conversations do piss people off. Some of the debates I know you've participated in, some levels of blood pressures, I'm sure, were elevated. And you don't agree with what the whole old world Tartarian stuff is, but there's a few things you guys do agree on, that there could have been reasons for the buildings to be used differently. It's just, are they screaming and yelling that you're an idiot? I haven't seen that. Are they getting worked up? I haven't seen that. I get that there's a divide.
Well, that doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
You're screaming.
I got screamed and yelled at plenty. Go watch the debate on Jeranism.
Yeah.
Go watch the debate on Jeranism. I got screamed at there.
Do you remember when you were trying to support your vision and opinion of flat Earth, and you hit that same animosity wall? That's what it's animosity. It's not that I disagree with your opinion. It flips to a personal animosity, and a bubble's put out there, and it pushes people away. You're pushing away the people that you don't agree with, but you're also pushing away people who are watching your behavior. That is all I was trying to say. I do agree with a lot of the things you say. I watch your Saturday all the time. I think the work that you do is fantastic. I think the effort you put in behind all of these meetups you deserve all the kudos. But if you're truly asking why this keeps going into a divide, I say step back a moment, have a look at how you are presenting yourself to everybody out there who's watching, and how you would feel if you were being attacked in this way, or maybe remember how you felt when the opposition was against flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I hope you have a great day. I hope that the meetup goes fantastic. I hope everybody has a great time getting to meet each other in person. And if I had the funds, I would be there. So please stop blocking me and attacking me. I don't feel like I have been attacking you.
I didn't block you.
Somebody did. Anyway, I want to thank Richard B. for the membership. Yep. And I feel like now I've had a chance to say and show you that I am not coming at this from a I support them fully attitude. I never did. I'm just answering how I see it.
Okay, but did you hear me?
There may be a lot of other people out there that have walked away.
But did you hear me when I said that this has been going on for years? And in the beginning, I did try to go about it that way, and people don't listen, and they keep going on with it, and it doesn't go away. So why am I not allowed to be frustrated with that?
Oh, yeah, you definitely are allowed to have your opinion and frustration.
Okay.
I totally agree. But if you keep disparaging back and forth, will it end? Maybe as I walked into this phone call with a white flag, you should offer one as well.
What? White flag for what?
Just to agree to disagree, because
I already did that. But see, you don't get it. You don't get it, because I already did agree to disagree. And then, but people can't let me disagree. Nobody wants to let me disagree. They say, oh, you're not looking at it. Oh, Karen, bleh. They turn their back on me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not allowed to disagree without having people turn their back on me.
Okay, Karen, I have a quick question for you then.
Mm-hmm.
Are you absolutely certain it was your disagreement that had them turn their back, or the way you verbalized your disagreement? Because it's harsh. It's harsher than you realize.
Well, it could have been both. But you know what, though? The truth doesn't care about your feelings. And when these people keep coming at me the same time over and over with stuff, it's like I have to get louder to deflect it, because it doesn't stop. So maybe it is both. But you know what? Maybe I'm also to the point where I don't care. Like, if these people aren't going to listen to me the normal way, then I'm going to yell, and then they're going to fuck off. And I'm okay with that, because I'm tired of these people wasting my time. And I'm tired of these people being a distraction, which is why I've stopped doing a lot of stuff that I've stopped doing, and why I'm going to continue to draw back, and why I'm changing course.
And that is definitely your prerogative to follow your dream. And it's that statement of truth that you keep throwing out there. Does any one person really know the truth with all the obfuscation that has been given across the board throughout history? Does anyone have that?
Well, I've said myself, not everybody knows the whole truth, but it's like people are accepting things of truth now without investigation because somebody who says that the earth is flat is giving them that information, and then people are just blindly accepting it. And I have a problem with that. That's deception.
So you think by being a flat earther that they're drawing minds away with their narrative, and it's offending you because now they're not following your narrative?
No, I don't have a narrative. What is my narrative? I'm not following. No, I don't care. I don't care what people believe. But I don't like them forcing it on me, which is what some of them have tried to do.
How long have you been on this morning?
What do you mean? Since 9:30, I guess?
You do care, or this conversation wouldn't still be going.
Yeah, because I care about people being deceived. I care about people being deceived. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to sit here and just smile and be like, when it keeps happening year after year after year, you know? And I'm sorry, but if people can't take the straight up truth, the unfiltered truth, well, maybe it's not for them.
And a lot of that has been said about flat Earth as well. I mean, you know that there's still a lot of people out there that are closeted flat earthers, and the reason being because they don't want to be called an idiot in public. They don't want to be called a retard in public. So they'll come to the meetups because there you are, you're in your own tribe. But they're not walking around on the streets stopping people and saying flat Earth. A lot of people are still very closeted. Not to say that their belief isn't strong, but the pressure and the animosity is not something they want to experience. Correct?
Sure.
Okay.
I experienced it, though. I went through that.
It's the same thing.
Well, no, it's not. I disagree, because the people who are doing it are already flat earthers. They already went through this embarrassment, and they should fucking know better. They should know better. So no, it's not the same. It's not like it's just some random person who doesn't look at anything and hasn't been questioned anything. And I'm going, hey, you fucking retard. No, these are people who should know better. These are people who allegedly did the research to get off the globe and to realize that the earth was flat. They should know better. They should know how to look at stuff. They should know how to find answers better, but they don't. They're just accepting stories from people on YouTube. That's what frustrates me. It's not the same. It's not the same. I'm sorry. I'm done. I don't want to continue that conversation because I don't feel like it's going anywhere. It's not the same. It's not the same. Like, actually right there just made me realize how much it's not the same. Because these people should know better. You people should know how to do some research. You should know how to seek for answers on your own. You should know how to think about things logically. You know, allegedly, that's what flat earthers brag about. Oh, I know. I discovered that the earth is a lie, and now I know everything. It's not the same. It's different. When somebody who should know better, somebody who's got a channel and creating content and who touts themselves as a researcher starts pushing stuff as bullshit, that's not the same. Check out Flat Out Truth for Giant Trees and Hangman. Yeah, see, I used Flat Out Truth's video as a proof, as a debunk, as part of the debunk in my video, you know? And yeah, go ahead, go look at these people for giant trees. Go look at stupid shit. Go waste your time. I don't care. It's your time to waste. Just don't waste my time with it. See, I guess I'm not allowed to express my opinion, or if I do express my opinion, I better be all fucking nice and fluffy and cheery and all Mary fucking Poppins about it, or else people are gonna get offended. That's not who I am. You know? That's not who I am. Sorry. That's just not who I am. Not sorry. Angela Baby Carson, what are you going to research? The official narrative? Because that's all you're going to get, and that's all lies. So then how did we wake up in the beginning? Genius. How did we wake up 10 years ago? If there's nothing to be found on the internet that is of any value. How did we all wake up then? So now you can't look on the internet for everything because everything on the internet is a lie? Then what the fuck are we all doing here? I'm on the internet. Discernment. Oy vey. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, it's Dennis. What's happening?
Hey, Dennis.
I
just ranting.
I saw you. Say again.
I said just ranting as usual.
Hey, on the ranting, I didn't know if it was cool to post it in public, but I sent a private message to you. The ranting reminded me from this scene in the movie Jackie Brown, where well, I'll just say what it is, but it's it reminded me because, you know, from a comical perspective, but what it was that Samuel L. Jackson is talking with Robert De Niro, and there was something went down where there was a big bunch of money that was stolen that had all of Samuel Jackson's money, and he's the badass in the movie, and somehow Robert De Niro lost it. And he's talking about what happened with this girl that had the money and all, and it transpired that he was concealing a certain fact. And Samuel Jackson got real angry, and he was it reminded me of you talking with these retardarians when you could see through the stuff, you know, the BS. So when he realized in the movie, when he realized he lost all hope, when he gave up and he just shot him, and that's Robert De Niro died. So you see the analogy.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was like a tragic scene for Robert De Niro because he got killed. But yeah, anyway, no, I wanted to thank you for the Truth and Freedom Conference. I saw you listed. They evidently contacted you, and so you listed it on the Flat Earth Festival's website.
Yeah.
So it should be not this coming weekend, like in 4 or 5 days, but the weekend after next. So in just under 2 weeks from now, Saturday, August the 10th, in Lakeland, Florida, the one-day Flat Earth Conference.
It says Truth and Freedom Conference. That's what they called it.
Yes, that's it. So I'll see. I know Austin Whitsett's going to be at that, and Flatoberfest, and so will Dan Faso. Dan, as in Bali Music Journey. He lives right there in Florida, so I don't know if maybe slightly farther from Flatoberfest. He's going to drive across Georgia, but he's kind of in between both of them. But I'll see. So far, I know both me Dan and Austin Whitsitt are going to both of them. But the how do you say? Oh, I don't know if I'm. I said there's a meeting just one night before Flatoberfest. I think it's. I don't know if I'm gonna, because my money's real tight right now. But Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene are speaking at the arena in Greenville, South Carolina, the Thursday 26th of September at 7 p.m. Just one night before Flatoberfest. So I don't know if I'm going to make it to that or not, but if I can swing it, I'll fit it in, because it's too close in time and place to at least not to be unaware of. Yep, I don't have too much today. That's all I got. I'm just full of taking care of odds and ends here.
Right on.
So all right, we'll see you. Thanks.
All right, later.
Oh, hey, could I ask one last question?
Huh.
You got the sorry, I was it's about the series of videos I sent for you to review. I know you gave that real in fairly short order, the 5-part documentary I made. I'm intending, just FYI, probably to use that as a dress rehearsal, because I think the general structure of it's good. And this is something to everybody I have not made public yet. I just sent out to a select few people so they could send back criticism. But I think that the content and the knowledge is good and the setup. But the presentation, I'm criticizing myself. The presentation could have been a lot better, because I keep going, a lot like Joe Biden. And so I know exactly the reason why. Although I stayed up preparing it the whole night before and sleepless, that's not the key reason. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but I didn't have I do better when my notes are word for word exactly, and I didn't have time to prepare the notes and keep correcting them and hone them down to where they're smooth to perfection. That would have been smooth, but I didn't have time to do that. So every time I do that in the whole video, or when I'm, even for that matter, when I call into Strange World, I'll be like, I know exactly what I want to say. It's just that I'm fumbling around in my mind for the exact words to use, and the effect is it makes the presentation sloppy like a Joe Biden speech. But so I'm going to use that as a dress rehearsal, and tentatively, and probably it's going to be 2000. I'll call it Project 2025. But that's probably next year will be my the documentary will come out, because it'll take time to hone the notes. I'll just use that as a dress rehearsal. But thanks for that one comment that you did make. Making a list where all the books I constantly reference, so people could click on them. And
well, mostly that's because some of them have crazy names, and I was like, I have no idea how to even spell that to try to go find it.
Yeah. And when I do a remake, I may do it as a completely audio thing, and I'll just come back later with because I'll have a computer by then. Because I got to get one for returning to school for a couple of years to get my degree, and I'll record audio first, and when I come back, I'll put on the screen the names of the books or relevant images, for what astronomical or whatever I'm talking about during those documentaries. Anyway, that's the game plan. But thanks for we able to see one of them.
I've only not the whole thing, but I've watched the first one, but I haven't watched the whole thing.
Okay.
I mean, not all 5.
Yeah, Ian Leahy from England. He said, "Wow, that's a lot of watching," and I knocked that all out in one day. But I had prepared for it. But I got to fine hone it, because in my opinion, I think the presentation could have been a a lot smoother. Then it would be, all right. I get it. What people now, I can picture people just waiting. What the flip are you going to say, dude? Say it. I could see that. So,
well, you know what,
yeah,
Dennis? You talk pretty fast, and so when I was watching your video, I could tell you were actually being slowed down by having to read.
Well, maybe that's
your
a good
outline.
thing, though.
You were, yeah, but at the same time, it also caused you to do the and the thing, which you don't typically do. So what I would suggest is that instead of having like word for word the whole thing typed out, do bullet points. And then as you're reading, you can just say it, because you're really good about talking about all this stuff. So if you just have bullet points, then you can just say it. And then anything you don't want in there, you can edit out.
Yeah. I know if I'll probably will get word for word in advance, but when I say it, it'll, I won't be like a constant blast of machine gun fire without let up.
Right,
putting
but then
out information.
You can
staccato.
edit breaks and pauses and stuff. I'm just saying, like, when you're like actively laying out information, I just feel like it would probably flow better that way if you did it that way.
Yeah, and having it on the screen so people can see it while I'm talking about it, flash up on the screen for enough time to accomplish them done, and pinned in the comments or notes also, say if it goes on YouTube, with all the links for a particular video.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, much appreciate. And that's all I got. If I don't have I'm tight on money these days. I said I'm going to give you a copy of the works of Flavius Josephus, because I know you do the Bible study a lot, and that really does come in handy. I may, I'll mail you a copy before the end of the year at any rate if I don't get to it by Flatoberfest. But I probably will, though.
Okay.
You don't have that book, I'm guessing.
Which one is it you said?
Josephus.
I don't believe so.
Okay. It's really handy for Bible study and all that, certain parts of it. Well, yeah, I'll let you go, but Josephus, check him out, or I'll post a link. He's first century Jewish historian, used a lot by quoted heavily by early Christian writers, and even modern and medieval. But he's very used for New Testament and Old Testament history. His works are very useful. They're long since recognized for a couple thousand years is something that's useful. I don't want to go on. I mean, they may have other callers, but Josephus is worth checking out. I'll give one example. In the Tower of Babel, where the families of Noah's 3 sons, I think 70 or 72 nations, depending on which manuscript tradition you read, but they went out, they were dispersed and went all over the world from the Tower of Babel. And the Bible gives the Hebrew names of all the fathers of all these nations. Well, Josephus gives the names that the Bible gives, and alongside him, he gives the name that Greek and Gentile historians call the nations also. Like Javan, the father of the Javanites, the Greek historians, that's actually the Greeks. Or the Elamites in the Bible, which the Greeks call the Persians, talking about Iran, and so on for all of them. But just loads of treasures of information like that are in Josephus.
That's great.
Okay, sorry I talked too much, and I'll let you go.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
All right.
Rivers person who said that I said there are no giants. It's like this is what I'm saying about people who don't listen. You're not listening. You're not listening to what I'm saying. See, this is what The Rivers person says, Karen, you do Bible studies on a Bible. You say no giants. I did not say no giants. When did I say? Somebody please point to me where I said that there were no giants, because I did not say that. I say all the time, yes, giants are talked about in scripture. There's evidence of giants. I just don't know to what extent they're role played as far as like building civilization. Okay? I don't know about that. That's all speculation. But I never said that there were no giants. See, that's what I'm saying. People just put words in my mouth. Doug Marr, cheers. Good to see you. Thank you for not being Mary Poppins. Although Sarah G said Mary Poppins was unapologetically, or who was it? Not Sarah G. Somebody else said it. That Mary Poppins was unapologetically a bitch in the book. It was Geekins. In the book, Mary Poppins is unapologetically a bitch. So maybe I am like Mary Poppins. I don't know. Daydreamers blurs the lines. Need to emphasize when it's conjecture, because a lot of it, if not all of that stuff, is hypothetical. That's what I'm saying. People say it's truth. You know, like Martin Liedtke runs around saying, "No, you can't debunk the mud flood." Yes, you can. You know, they say it's absolute truth. It can't be debunked. Well, actually, yeah, a lot of it can be. But see, that they just choose to ignore that stuff. That's why I get frustrated. That's why my language is so harsh. Because I spent a long time saying it in a nicer way and I got completely ignored. Now, when I say, hey, you must be a fucking retard to believe that, well, now people will pay attention. So maybe it's not the best way to do it. You know, maybe not. I'm not a professional. You know, I'm just a person out here looking for truth, right? I'm just someone who's trying to figure shit out. You know, I'm just someone who's tired of being lied to. So maybe it's not the best way, but when and this goes, maybe it has to do with being a female too, because it's like, you know, female voices are not heard so easily. It is a man's world. So if you're a nice female and you go, you know, I don't think that's true because XYZ, everybody ignores you. I did the math yesterday. I have almost 60K nautical miles sailed, including my circumnavigation. I knew it was flat 20 years ago, just couldn't wrap my brain around it when I was 22 years old. Brandon, that's pretty cool. We need to have a meetup so you can come meet all the flat earthers around here. I find a lot of truth on Republic Broadcasting Network. Real news, real talk, real people. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that. Book of Enoch says labor the trees and leave stump of... Yeah, I know. Listen, I have a video that I made. Maybe you give a shit, maybe you don't. Maybe you want to look at something that's it is in opposition to your already solidified beliefs, it would seem. But let's check it out. Right? No giant trees in the Bible or Book of Enoch. I made this video 10 months ago. It's got 602 views. This is my attempt at making a video that is not using any harsh language. It's purely based on data, right? It's just data. It's not even got 1,000 views. Nobody gives a shit. But let's go look at the earth was full of giant trees. 12,000 views. Oh, look it, it's a picture. A stump and a rock. Oh, it must be the same. 12,000 views. Oh, look at all these little shorts. Giant trees. 1.6 million views. Mountains are petrified giant tree stumps. 40,000 views. Who cut down the ancient trees? 31,000 views. Nephilim giant door near the Grand Canyon. 2.4 million views. Ancient giant trees. You know, look at these. 300,000 views. giants, that trees are mountains. And then I made a video 10 months ago. All I do is go over evidence. I don't call anybody names. I don't even think I cuss in this video. Actually, let's play it. Well, it's 25 minutes. A little bit concerned. I'm concerned that I see people spreading misinformation. They're saying things that aren't true, and I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or if they are just believing what somebody else said and then sharing it because it sounds cool. But I need to address it because it's really ridiculous. And I don't do this to cause any sort of division. I don't do this because I want to start fights with people. I really just feel like people aren't asking the right questions. They aren't scrutinizing new 10 months information ago. the same way that they scrutinized the globe or flat earth when they first came into that. It's like they don't think that they can be fooled anymore or ever again, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's still very easy for people to be fooled even if they have woken up to flat earth. And I also think that we still need to continually scrutinize any sort of theories or ideas or information that's becomes viral within this community, if you want to call it that, if it can be called that. But anyway, I want to talk about how there is no evidence of giant trees or Titan-sized trees supported in the Bible, in Scripture, or in the Book of Enoch, and yet it is repeated quite often, time and time again, that there are giant trees in the Bible and the Book of Enoch, and that this is evidence that a lot of these sort of unusual mountain formations that are mountains that come up out of the ground and sort of terminate to a flat top that appear to be or have a visual similarity to a tree stump that was cut down. So they're extrapolating this and using it as evidence that those mountains were once giant trees that were cut down by titans or angels or whatever. But I think that people are really misinterpreting Scripture. They are embellishing things, and they're adding to it where things don't need to be added to Scripture like this, because this is how we get ourselves in trouble and we end up, being misled. So I just want to go over a couple of things today to outline this. And just because, I think it's good to ask questions, we need to scrutinize stuff. And if it's my job to be the resident contrarian here, well then, so be it. So I started looking into why people are so convinced that these things or these formations are giant trees, other than the visual similarity, because really that's not enough, okay? So they try to use these things, these ancient texts, as evidence. Okay, so I see that comment, Gregory, if everything was larger, then they would have just been trees. And I agree. However, that's not what's described in Scripture, okay? People are not described as giants, and they differentiate between giants and regular people. So that actually doesn't make sense. It's not a good argument. I mean, it's true. If everything was larger, then they would have just been trees, but not everything was larger, because they make reference to people of substantial stature and stuff in Scripture. So they do differentiate between normal size and giant size. So actually that argument doesn't hold any water. Onto this site that says Enoch's angels chopped down the ancient giant trees. So this person brings up the Book of Enoch, and they talk about how this made them interested in the possibility of giant trees. However, nothing in the Book of Enoch describes any of the trees as giant or even larger than what we know as to be normal sized trees. It just talks about trees. There is a part where it talks about a specific number of trees, 200 trees, which are supposed to represent the 200 watchers or the fallen angels, right? And it talks about how the Creator tells angels to cut down the 200 trees because it is signifying the falling of these fallen angels or the watchers, right? or I guess some people like to call them the Nephilim. So here it cites this video by J Dreamer Z, or J Dreamers. Enoch's angels chop down the giant trees.
The world was torn down. All of those giant silica pillars that reached up into the heavens.
Okay, well, a silica pillar is a crystal, by the way. First of all, I don't want to get into all the stuff that Jay talks about. He's a really nice guy, and I'm not trying to, like, say anything bad, but he does have his own theory about how things went down, right? So he has sort of made up his own ideas about stuff, but these are his ideas, right? These are not scripture-backed ideas, and I'm not like making any comment to his whole timeline, his theory, or anything like that, but this specific topic right here, talking about referencing the book of Enoch as evidence of giant trees being cut down.
I don't believe it. I'm going to repeat that verse from the book of Enoch, just that one particular, chapter 66, verse 2. Now then shall the angels labor at the trees, but when they proceed to do this, I will put my hand upon it and preserve it. It's interesting to me that it says preserve it.
Okay, so why it says that? The angels will labor among the trees. So let me bring up, actually I should bring up the book of Enoch. Let's do that. 66. And after this he showed me the angels of punishment who are ready to come and release all the forces of the water which is under the earth in order to bring judgment and destruction on all those who reside and dwell upon the dry ground. And the Lord of spirits commanded the angels who were coming out not to raise their hands but to keep watch, for those angels were in charge of the forces of the waters. And I came out from before Enoch. And in those days the word of the Lord came to me, and he said to me, Noah, behold, your lot has come up. Where is it even talking about trees? Let's do this. Completely full of trees. None of this is saying giant trees, by the way. Large trees. And I came to a garden of righteousness. I saw beyond those trees many large trees growing there, sweet smelling, large, very beautiful and glorious. The trees of wisdom, from which they eat and know great wisdom. And it is like the carob tree. Not giant, though. Okay, there are multiple translations of the book of Enoch. However, laboring at the trees, here's the thing about some of the ancient Hebrew. The word for tree is also the word for lumber. Of course, I'm not looking at the original text here, but it could just be a mistranslation of angels working with lumber to build something. And this is actually during a time where they're talking about the coming flood, right? So the Lord of spirits commanded the angels who were coming out not to raise their hands, but to keep watch, for those angels were in charge of the forces of the waters. And I came out from before Enoch. And so this is one translation of it. Here, chapter 66, in those days the word of God came to me and said, Noah, behold, thy lot has ascended up to me, a lot void of crime, a lot beloved and upright. So he's saying, Noah and your family, you guys are all good, okay? You are good people among a sea of bad people. This is right before the flood. Now then shall the angels labor at the trees, but when they proceed to this, I will put my hand upon it and preserve it. So the seed of life shall arise from it, and a change shall take place. The dry land may not be left empty. I will establish thy seed before me ever and ever, and the seed of those who dwell with thee on the surface of the earth. It shall be blessed and multiplied in the presence of the earth in the name of the Lord. So what this is saying is that the angels are helping to build the ark, okay? And then from the ark, from Noah and his family, because what he's talking about is he's wiping off life from the earth, right? So the ark then becomes the seed, right? Noah, his family, all the animals and critters that they put in the ark, that becomes then the seed of life, right? Shall arise from it. And a change shall take place that the dry land may not be left empty. Okay, so this is what it's talking about in the book of Enoch. Let's see, there was another one. So it could be translated a couple different ways. So here's another one. It's not even calling it chapter 66. It's chapter 3, Judgment of the Angels. And in those days, the word of God came unto me, and he said to me, Noah, thy lot has come up before me, a lot without blame, a lot of love and uprightness, and now the angels are working, and when they have completed their task, I will place my hand upon it and preserve it, and there shall come forth from it the seed of life, and a change shall set in, so that the earth will not remain without inhabitant. And I will make fast thy seed before me ever and ever. So he's saying that he's placing them in that ark for the ark to become the new seed of life to re-inhabit the earth. Nowhere is it talking about giant trees. I mean, they might have been using big trees to build a big ark, but it's not talking about Titan-sized trees, mountain-sized trees, trees that cover the entire earth, trees that are so big that if you were living in the shadow of it, you would not be able to see the sky clock. It would be blotting out the sun. How would you grow your crops in the shadows of such trees? See, this is why I think that these people, they get an idea, but they don't walk it through. They don't finish that thought. You have to imagine life existing with these things. Think about trees and how much water trees take to be sustained, and how much nutrients. How would other things grow in the shadow of such giant trees, especially if they were all over the place like people like to claim that they were?
It's talking about the trees, but then it says preserve it, as in singular, right? I wonder if there is still the world tree at the center of our Middle Earth.
You see how this is sort of cherry picking one line of ancient text and sort of twisting it, or sort of embellishing it, taking it out of context to make it fit a certain narrative. I just don't agree with this, and I'm not trying to say anything bad, but I just want to point this out, because we need to be critical of the information that we accept as true and the information that we share, and the reasons why we're sharing it. Like, it's okay to theorize about things and imagine the way things could be, or even have imaginary worlds and stuff like that, but that's just it. It's not meant to be. It's not actual reality, and these things actually have to work in reality. And the reality is that this realm doesn't seem to be able to support anything that is living of that size. We're talking about pressure mediation, sort of driving the size of life in this realm, right? Like these trees, they would have to be so tall, and they would have to have roots spread out hundreds and hundreds of miles in every direction, down so deep that it would the roots would be growing and cracking into the bedrock beneath the soil. And we already know that there are a lot of things deep down in the earth that we actually drill and mine and go into the earth to extract as part of our natural resources, like oil and natural gas and things like this. So if there were these giant trees of this size, on the earth, doesn't it seem like all of those sort of wells, those natural reserves down under the earth, maybe would have been fractured into and depleted because the root system of these giant trees would be destroying everything? Just a thought. But it is speculation, okay? So there is no mention of any giant trees in the book of Enoch. So there's another video that I want to reference where, and I'm going to point it out to you very specifically, where he is extrapolating and drawing conclusions to insinuate about giant trees, even though they are not actually written about in Scripture. Okay, so here he talks about the 200 trees.
Enoch explains that the 200 trees represent the 200 watchers. Okay, now, so you understand that, let's go back to the book of Enoch, okay? And right here it says, and it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them.
Okay, so this is talking about how the Nephilim came to be, how giants came to be, okay?
Us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. So anyways, they all get together. We were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon.
Okay, so they're saying there's 200 watchers or 200 Nephilim or 200 fallen angels, right? No disputing that it talks about
Okay,
that.
now let's go back over to the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay.
Oh, this is from the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls Book of Enoch, which is in chunks. It's not complete.
See here. Enoch explains that the 200 trees represent the 200 watchers. Remember, the 200 watchers were originally angels. They were 200 fallen angels. Okay, they were to watch over the earthly beings, but they decided to come down and mate with the earthly women, which is what caused the Nephilim. Okay, so while the felling of their trunks signified their destruction in a coming conflagration and deluge.
Talking about the
that
flood.
Means the flood was coming. That's why these angels were sent down to cut down the trees. Okay, and just like I showed you in Enoch 66:2, you know, God sent the angels to work at the trees. So,
but that is where and I just went over 66:2, where the angels were helping Enoch to basically build an ark, is what it's talking about. It's not talking about felling any giant trees, and the trees were not described as giant trees or Titan-sized trees.
anyway,
Now, keep in mind that there were 200 trees for the 200 angels.
as you can see here in the Dead Sea Scrolls and from the book of Enoch and from Daniel from the Holy Bible,
And we'll go to Daniel. I will get into Daniel right after this.
the giants did not cut down the trees. God sent angels here to cut down the trees because he was getting ready to flood the earth.
Well, at least he says the giants didn't cut down the trees, which they did not.
And the only thing that would have been big enough to climb those trees to the heavens would have been the giants.
Okay, right there. That is the embellishment. The only things that would have been able to climb those trees to the heavens, there is nowhere in what he's reading does it say that the trees went up to the heavens. Okay, it just says 200 trees.
So God knew what he was doing here to cut down the trees because he was getting ready to flood the earth. And the only thing that would have been big enough to climb those trees to the heavens would have been the giants.
And the only thing that would have been big enough to climb those trees to the heavens. Okay, that right there is an addition. That is being inserted by this particular person. It does not say that they were giants and that they were giant trees. The trees were never described as giants. They're just 200 trees, which signify the giants, right? It's like it's a allegorical.
God knew what
comparison.
he was doing when he sent the angels.
Let's go back right here. Enoch explains that the 200 trees represent the 200 watchers, while the felling of their trunks signifies their destruction in a coming conflagration and deluge, the coming flood. More significant, however, is the means for which Mahawai attains astral flight, for he is said to have used his hands like a winged eagle elsewhere in the same Enochian text, blah, 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 blah. Celestial voices, blah. Nothing about giant trees or the trees reaching up to the heavens. So there's that. Now, he mentions Daniel. So let's go ahead and look at scripture 4. Okay, this is the one that talks about supposed trees. Okay, but I want you to look at the titles here. Nebuchadnezzar's second dream. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and prospering in my palace. I saw a dream and it frightened me, and the thoughts on my bed and the visions of my head alarmed me. So I issued a decree to bring in all the wise ones of Babel before me to make known to me the interpretations of the dream, blah, blah, blah. Now the visions on my head were these. I looked and I saw a tree in the midst of the earth and its height great. The tree became great and strong, and its height reached to the heavens, and it was visible to the ends of all the earth. Its leaves were lovely and its fruit plenty, and in it was food for all. The beasts of the field found shade under it, and the birds of the heavens dwelt in its branches, and all flesh was fed from it. In the visions of my head on my bed, I looked and saw a watcher, even a set-apart one, coming down from the heavens. He cried aloud and said this, "Hew down the tree and cut off its branches, strip off its leaves and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts flee from under it and the birds from its branches. But leave the stump of its roots in the earth, even with the band of iron and bronze in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of the heavens, and let this portion be with the beast on the grass of the earth. And let his heart be changed from man's, let him be given the heart of a beast, and 7 times pass over him. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the command by the word of the set-apart ones, so that the living know that the Most High is ruler in the reign of men, and gives it to whomever he wishes, and sets over it the lowest of men. This dream I have seen, I, sovereign Nebuchadnezzar, and you, Belteshazzar, reveal its interpretation, since all the wise ones of my reign are unable to make known to me the interpretation, but you are able, for the spirit of set-apart Elohim is in you. And so Daniel interprets the dream. Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was stunned for a short time, and his thoughts alarmed him. The sovereign responded and said, Belteshazzar, do not let the dream or its interpretation alarm you. And he answered and said, my master, the dream is to those who hate you, and its interpretation to your enemies. The tree you saw, which became great and strong, whose height reached to the heavens and was visible to all the earth, whose leaves were lovely and its fruit plenty, and in it was food for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and in those branches the birds of the heavens sat. It is you, O sovereign, who have become great and strong, and your greatness has grown and has reached to the heavens, and your rulership to the end of the earth. And as the sovereign saw the watchers, even a set-apart one, coming down from the heavens, he said, hew down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump of its roots in the earth, even with the band of iron, bronze, and the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of the heavens, and let this portions be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times passed over him. This is the interpretation, O sovereign, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my master sovereign, that you are going to be driven away from men, and your dwelling be with the beasts of the field, and you be given grass to eat like oxen, and you be wetted with the dew of the heavens, and 7 times pass over you, till you know that the Most High is ruler in the reign of men, and that he gives it to whomever he wishes. And they gave the command to leave the stump of its roots of the tree. Your reign remains yours from the time you come to know that the heavens are ruling. Therefore, O sovereign, let my counsel be acceptable to you, and break off your sins by righteousness, and your crookedness by showing favor to the poor. Your prosperity might be extended. Okay, so that's what this is talking about. The dream is Nebuchadnezzar showing that his power, his rule, is being cut down by the Creator. It is not talking about an actual tree. Now, there is another verse. Somebody else brought to my attention Ezekiel. Here we go. And it came to be in the 11th year of the 3rd month, on the first new moon, that the word of Yehovah came to me, saying, in Lebanon, beautiful rivers running around became salt, like its bows of Eden in its high ground. This is a cow like in it, allegorical comparisons. These are not actual trees. So there you go, Stephanie. See, I have tried to be nice. I have tried to make videos where I just explain my point of view, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody likes their giant tree bullshit. So, with that, I'm done playing nice, and now I'm just going to shame you for believing retarded bullshit! 'Cause I'm done. I'm done. I'm done playing the nice game, because it doesn't work. Nice guys finish last. So I'm going to wrap it up, but I just want to come in here and see if there's anything in chat. Let's see. And the roots are old trunks and marble and granite quarry. Oh, God. Oh, so now you're just going to assume that the trees are the quarries? Let's see here. Not sure if there were giant trees, but the reason why the earth was wiped out at all was because they mixed the plants, animals, and humans together. The Black Hills of South Dakota. The trees got so heavy they fell into hollow earth. What? And the redwood trees, Karen, what is the land like there? Is it productive or not? Well, in the redwood forest, it's just a forest. It's a redwood forest, and the trees, the thing about redwoods too is like they don't even get most of their moisture from the ground. Redwood trees actually get their moisture from the fog that's up high and in their treetops. They have like a whole ecosystem in the redwood trees. I don't know if you guys ever, because I grew up in California. I actually grew up in a city called Redwood City, named after redwood trees. So, and I've been to the redwood forest. I've seen the giant sequoias. I've been there many times. The forest is lush with plants that live in that type of system. But when you're talking about crops and stuff, like you need a certain amount of sun for these crops, and they need a certain amount of water. You know, you're talking about a completely different ecosystem that lives inside the confines of the redwood forest or the giant tree forest. The giant trees don't even get, like I said, they get most of their moisture from the fog, from the top, because they can't draw water all the way from the bottom to the top. All the way, bro. Doug. Do the victim again. Yeah. The cruelest foreign nation cut it down and left it. There's trees, branches fell in the mountains and in the valleys, and its broken limbs were in all the ravines of the land. Boy, you guys, here come all the giant tree people to cry about their giant trees. They eat the fog with their spongy bark. That's right. That's right. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm done bitching for the day, I guess. But, you know, I just wanted to show this because, you know, I try to do stuff. I try to do it the right way. Nobody gives a shit, you guys. Nobody gives a shit. They don't. They don't give a shit unless you insult them. So, it is what it is, I guess. Because I quit Strange World. So the fog eliminates the ability to have productive crops on the ground? No! The big trees that block out the sun do that. Thanks for calling coffee. Ah! Holy shitballs. I think that was you, Dennis. Oh my god, my head. Thank you, Google Voice. Insults push viewers away. Well, it's funny because everybody comes over here and all they want me to do is rant. Karen rant! Get another Karen rant! If insults push viewers away, why does everybody want that stuff so much? No, Strange World is still a thing, okay? I just don't do Strange World anymore. Patricia Steer is hosting Strange World now with Mark.
Better.
Alright, okay, it's better.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I don't know what that was, but it sucked.
Okay, it was the air conditioner. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
And this is just too funny. I don't have a bunch to say. I just got one thing because it's so funny. It makes a point, though, but you know, in a line along the lines of the, you know, the bitching and the ranting. For this, could I say one thing? It's along, you know, that the thing with Samuel L. Jackson where he shoots Robert De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
Could you pick just one retardarian who, you know, is a flat earther that you were used to think have more potential, and you become disappointed with? I'm guessing there's maybe more than a few of people like that.
There are, but I don't. Yeah, but I don't know if I should be naming names like that on screen.
Okay. Anyway, just all, you know, to point.
I'm trying not to like do that. I feel like, you know, people already get mad at me enough for what I do. It's like I want to be able to say my opinions about these things and say what I think is wrong with it and why I think it's wrong. You know, but it's so hard to do without somebody feeling attacked.
Yeah. The only thing I was going to say, the part that's funny, in that clip, when Samuel Jackson gets so fed up with De Niro just being a dope and he shoots him, immediately after he shoots him, he leans over to him in his face and he says, "What happened to you, man? Your ass used to be beautiful." I could picture you saying the same exact thing about so many people. Anyway, that's
yeah.
That's all I got.
All right.
Sorry for calling in so much.
That's okay,
and
Dennis.
Sorry about the air conditioner.
Yeah, that sucked, but we'll get over it.
I
right,
appreciate it.
This is the only Karen fix we get now. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I do Glowbusters Tech on Thursdays with Cammie, Zach, and Kyle, which I still enjoy that because I love Cammie and Zach, you know, especially Cammie. She's one of my dearest friends. She gets it. She hears all my complaining, and I love her for listening to all my complaining, and she's just the best. Everybody send Cammie good, loving, white energy. To me, insults or emotional nonsense shows there's something hidden in the emotions or the obfuscation, usually a false dichotomy to choose from. I mean, maybe. You know, it's like, it was never my intention to start insulting, but it just gets to the point where it's just so old. It's so tired. You guys have been debunked. Ewar debunked all his stuff. Ewar denounced all his lost history of flat earth stuff, but everybody still shares it like it's the truth. And then they call Ewar a flip-flopper, or they accuse him of being controlled op, or they say somebody got to him. It couldn't just be that he actually realized that he was wrong about stuff and then voiced the opinion and apologized for it and then retracted it to try to correct what he had done. Oh, no. He's got to be controlled op now. You know what I'm saying? It's like people have invested themselves in this subject so much that they have made it a belief. It's become very culty. And I've gotten to the point where I just don't care about insulting these people anymore because it is ridiculous and it is way out of hand. I just don't care anymore. I used to care. I cared a couple of years ago. I cared a while ago when I would try to do these things in the way that I just showed people with the No Giant Trees video. I feel like that was like the right way to do it, right? That's what you guys are talking about. Don't insult, just show the data. Okay, well, I did. Nobody fucking cares. So anyway, that's fine though. That's fine. I'm doing an event. It's probably going to be my last event. I know I said this before, but seriously, I think I'm done. I'm really done because I just don't want to sit here and argue with people. I don't want to, break my back or spend all my time working on something for people so they can turn around and tell me that I'm controlled op or I'm not nice enough or I'm causing division or, whatever sort of bullshit or whatever they want to tell me. Okay, I'm over it. This is the last one. Let's go out with a bang. Biggest flat earth conference since 2020. That's right. I held live conferences when everybody was told to be on lockdown for the pandemic, right? Everybody was being told to mask up and 6 feet distancing and no social gatherings. But guess what? I had a festival with over 400 people. There was no masks. There was no social distancing. We all hugged. We all held hands. We did everything. It was great. We had a wonderful time. That happened in 2020. Then I did it again in 2021 because they were still pushing the pandemic in 2021. Okay. And I still had another event where there was no masks and no social distancing and no mandates enforced. And I did it, and nobody else was doing that. No other flat earth anything was going on at that time, except for me. I worked my ass off to make that happen because I wanted you people to get together. I wanted to build a community with this group. I wanted to see things get better. Okay. That's why I did what I did. So now it's all gone to shit, but that's okay. We'll go out with a bang. September 27th through the 29th, Friday and Saturday, Flatoberfest, Flat Earth Festival, 55 acres, camp on site. Don't camp on site. Stay at a hotel. We're going to be learning. This is going to be a place for learning. We're going to have the biggest expanded how the world works exhibit at this festival. We're going to have Rubens tubes and cymatic plates, in addition to all the other stuff that they've already had at How the World Works. Gyroscopes, Tesla coils, magnets, all that stuff. Crystals, everything to show you how things work in this realm, okay? This is going to be a place for learning. We're going to have David Beverly of Jesus Free Computer Geek, Rick Hummer, Chief Crow and the Flat Earthworms, One Big Love, Austin Whitsitt, me, myself, and I, Karen B. You guys can all take that for what it's worth. Maybe you hate me, maybe you don't. Ben Balderson is going to be doing a live Spazurics demo there. So you're going to get to see in real life firsthand some actual real alchemy. Body workers, healing arts. I've got a face painter coming for the children. Children 12 and under get in free. Okay, we're going to have a huge flat earth party. Okay, a flat earth celebration, a flat earth festival, a flat earth family reunion. Okay. All right. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hey, cheers to Isabella 2.0 for being a member for 5 months. Someone else can pick up the torch if they are capable. Yeah, right. Somebody else will probably do it. That's fine. I'm going to move into smaller things. I'm going to be more localized. I'm not doing big conferences anymore after this. I'm done. 100% done. I'm changing course. I'm changing what I do. I'm changing my focus. I'm not leaving. I'm not going away off into obscurity, but I'm definitely changing what I'm doing, and I'm going to be changing, everything. So anyway, I hope you all will join us for the last, this is it, the last Flatoberfest 2024, 100% last one. Okay? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna move on with my life after this. I'll be doing a booth demonstrating how to make dynamite. Yeah, people don't care. And then they get mad at you for not doing what you want them to do. Nobody appreciates your vision. Don't take my giant trees away. I need them for my Avatar fantasy. Exactly. They put it in Avatar. Like, tell me that wasn't some programming. I mean, in the whole no trees on flat, no forest on flat Earth, like that video broke right after flat Earth got really big back in 2016. It was like everybody's minds was ripe for the priming, and that's when that bullshit came out and went viral. And I was the only one. There was like, everybody was going nuts about it. And I was the only one who was like, that don't seem right to me. But whatever. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will maybe see you guys Thursday with Glowbusters Tech if we do a show. I don't know. So Saturday for anti-religious scripture study. That series is almost coming to a close because we are in Deuteronomy, and it was initially just to do the Torah, just the initial five books. So we're in Deuteronomy. That is the 5th book. So that stream will be closing down at the end of Deuteronomy. And then, so that'll have one more stream off my docket. And that's it. That's it. I don't know how long Coffee Talk's going to go for. I'll keep doing it as long as I can stand doing it, though, I guess. But I really want to make, I'm going to go back to making edited videos. I'm going to be going back to producing. I'm going to start producing different content. And it's not going to have anything to do with live streams. But anyway, I love you guys. I really do. I love everybody that I have met over the last 10 years. Even the ones who have distanced themselves from me because of my opinion on these old world subjects and giant trees and these other trendy subtopics that have taken sort of like a hold on flat earthers. You know, I'm sorry. I have to stay true to myself at the end of the day, and I have to feel good about what information I'm putting out into the realm, and I have to feel good about what I have, you know, what I've done, what I've said. And I don't feel good about perpetuating stuff that I have found evidence to not be true. Sorry, not sorry. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you all later. Cheers. And for those who wish to send me stuff through snail mail, you can send it to P.O. Box 10, Earl, North Carolina, 28038. There are also links below for Flat Earth merch, and you can send me donations. And I do appreciate all the support. Sincerely, thank you very much. Also, please go to flatearthfestivals.com for all information about upcoming Flatoberfest and flat earth friendly local meetups. If you are organizing a local flat earth meetup, email me at flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com with your meetup information to have it listed on the website for free. For everything else, you can email me at karenbfe@protonmail.com. Thank you for being here.